Hello everybody and welcome over for Trackmania World Tour. We're back with APAC for Stage 2 and I am here with Creedy. How you going, man?
I'm doing great. I mean, I'm branching out Stage 1, MEA and EU phase for the streams. Now we're here to conquer APAC as well, but I'm really excited as well. What we have upcoming for the weekend and everything to come as well. It is very exciting as well. And I do hope that what we have, cooked up for you all is very exciting as well. So already seen some names and it's going to be good stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, my first time coming in for the esports scene with the last stage as well. It's good to be back. If you don't know me, I'm Gex, mainly hopping over from other games, but good to be here again. And like you said, some big players coming through and some big time being put in by the players as well. Any particular tracks that you're expecting that time to have gone into, Creedy?
I mean, it depends, of course, where the preferences are. If I had to choose maps that you would really want to put in time, because you never know who's gonna pick it. Frosty's probably one of those maps, and Vortex as well, yeah, because those are the maps that can really caught you off guard. But then again, you think of the likes of Grip. You gotta have pace on all of them, but I guess more technical heavy, especially if somebody picks Frosty,
Frosty,
and you have no practice whatsoever, you are absolutely in the mud, because you really have to nail those 360s on those ice, and if you're not prepared, well, there's the always next map, I guess.
Yeah, that is technical well before the identity as well. Yeah. So I do agree. I think that's probably the map I'd be putting the most time into there as well. I gotta say, I think we've got a bit of a harder stage here than our last one as well. So I was expecting the time to come out, and we're not seeing the players posting their times online as much here in the APAC region this stage either. I think that's a lot more players being a bit more conservative about what they reveal about their lines.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It is there's always the case to be made. Do you play online, of course, sort of to strike fear into your opponents? But now, of course, there's still the mentality. You hide the lines, but it sort of only helps for that first regional or that first stage. After that, you know, you really get to you sort of really the easiest way is after that the cover is blown, and then all your cards are kind of shown. So it sort of works only for the first part. Of course, All Stars was a bit of a, it was a bit of a thing where really nobody really wanted to show off things. It was sort of like a Wild West, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think we're looking at some big names, particularly one of the names we're looking at the moment is Trident Esports, Biwack and JSwag. I think JSwag was mentioned to me by production as being one of the players putting in the most time right now. And Biwack, I've been seeing his name pop up all over leaderboards on the main campaign. So I think they're a pretty big threat right now.
Yeah, there's what we of course know from the previous stage as well. There's a lot of stuff as well, and of course there's the name of course Winky Face comes to mind as well. Probably the man that is even in the regular campaign, the campaign, global campaign. Winky Face is probably one of the most hardest men to beat as well. Yeah. And with Trident as well, of course, something we do have to note for this first regional at least, the former members of Vobi, Kuda, and Spark are not going to be joining in for the first regional. So again, there is a lot of opportunity for these teams, especially the ones that were previously on top or now looking to gather some points for the stages as well. Or you have All Stars as well, and the more points you get, you might get some good opportunity to get into All Stars for that as well. So all of these teams now I say former Wobi, now it is just Kuda and Spark. So if any orcs out there, you know who to look for. You have some players looking to be signed. But in that regard, I mean, points are available, and there's blood in the water, I think.
Absolutely.
To say the least.
Speaking of orgs as well, a name that you're probably familiar with, even if you're not familiar with APAC, is going to be Ferox from EU. Of course, Ferox here in APAC is going to be a different roster, but they have been training with the EU guys as well, so should be a fair bit of tenure coming across from EU there.
Yes, definitely. Like as we've heard from production side as well, like it has been the case where the EU side has actually been, in some sense, coaching the APAC side as well, and being actually a part of the scene as well. So it's very good to see.
Close knit.
It breeds good competitiveness, and you never know. It's a good way to sort of scrim with one another, be coached by probably one of the best EU teams in as well. So I mean, if I had to choose, if Matus and Melio are going to be coaching me, I would say yes, please. Can I get it for free? Like, I would definitely love for that. But you know,
what, you're not willing to pay for that? That's
I mean,
stingy.
okay, let's say if it is
Greedy.
free, it's perfect. But if I had to, my name is Greedy for a reason. But in regards to, I would pay for that service as well. But hey, who doesn't like a free lunch? But
yeah.
But they always say, but nothing really is free in that sense. But it's a good thing, and for Planetary Goose and Sved, I mean, it's a good opportunity. Like it just breeds more competition for them. They're more ready than ever before, and just to have Melio and Matus on the wings as well. I mean, perfect, pretty much.
And looking across, there's probably more names that people are looking out for here. Noah and Simply Nick have to be some of the loudest names in the community out there, both with some pretty big channels on Twitch. Particularly Simply Nick has a fairly massive following that's been going for some time. We're going to be seeing them straight off the bat as well, so good to see Nick and Noah teaming up for this.
Yeah, it's he was playing the last time as well. I tuned into some of the streams sometimes, or his POV. Maybe not the best reaction sometimes, it was because the previous map pool, actually a good topic to segue into as well, comparison between the current and the previous map pack. A lot of people say a lot more positive stuff about this map pack being a lot more, at least in my opinion, a lot more easier, more lenient as well. But still, it has that element of World Tour in it. But it's good to see, Simply Nick is a very prominent name as well. It's good to see him around, and maybe, somebody sees it and be like, you know what, I can do this, and you never know. Maybe there's going to be more teams next time as well.
Yeah.
So, every ounce of, motivation, reaching out to the wider audience is always welcome.
Yeah, and to be clear to you guys at home, I'm sure that what Creedy is talking about there is the satisfaction of these maps from the pros. If you guys at home haven't tried these, you're probably going to find the expletives yourself about these. It's always tough. I mean, you're coming in here at a pro level, right?
Yeah, the E stands for easy, but I definitely don't take it as easy. It should be easy.
That's quotation marks
very
on that.
strong quotation marks as well. Because if you drive these maps, like, you have your average cup of the day grass full speed. This is basically, you take that grass full speed, add every other surface to it, put a very complicated identity in the end, and then say, well, good luck. And you have to drive them in rounds as well, like you would normally do in Cup of the Day. So you bring in the references from Cup of the Day that more people are familiar with, but the tracks themselves are a completely different level because there's nothing quite like it in that regard. But I feel like it's a good way to introduce, because a lot of the times the Cup of the Days are only one surface or very one surface oriented, but in this case you have pretty much everything. And I do see that there is a pick and ban on the screen.
Yeah, we've got our players in.
My end, so I do believe it was because Ferox Industries hasn't joined at the time. So
yeah, we've got everybody here now. Yep.
Let's
head over and check out what they're going to be picking here. So we've got all of our maps displayed here on screen for you. And we should be seeing these guys really setting up very, very well for themselves here. Like we were talking about, a lot of time going in, particularly here in Stage 2 now, out of these players to getting to know these maps. I'm looking forward to seeing a few of these. Grip has to be one of my favorite of the season.
Yeah, well, for me, I know this is probably not the most obvious thing usually, but I have a soft spot for Vortex. Like, I really enjoyed hunting it, and that end identity. I know a lot of people have said it, but it is more of the case that more of the case where the pipe itself, the faster you go, the actually the easier it is. So we'll have to wait and see. But there does seem to be. Well, I have. Well, it seems that we have to at the moment take a look at the moment. Because we do seem that, at least from my end, well, we might have to switch back to our point of view,
Yeah.
because it seems that the ban didn't go properly through, or he didn't, at least either Nick didn't get to ban or didn't get to click on something. So we'll have to wait for that, but we'll have to see how it goes. But
Yeah,
going
some
back to the
problems
maps,
with
like I
the
said,
pick and ban. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, what I was about to say, like Vortex is a favorite of mine. I know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people probably don't share my opinion in that regard, but Vortex, I don't know. I just have a Airwalk also is one of my favorites. But it seems that the pick and ban is now working.
Yep.
At least I see the bans going through, so I think we.
There we
can
go. Yeah,
back to
they're coming
there we
across
go.
now.
Now we see.
So off-road banned out by the red side there, breaking E as the second ban coming through, and now we see our first pick.
Yeah, off-road. I think off-road. Yeah, I understand the braking part. Hey, Vortex.
There you go, straight off the bat.
Go.
Look, I understand
go.
Vortex is a super fun map. I tried playing it, my net at the time was having some issues trying to go across those little orange spinners. If you see that on the right-hand side there, that little striped section, those spin at high speed left or right, and you've got to just adjust for it over that. If you're doing that with lag, the car just teleports. It's you cross your fingers and you pray you reach the other side.
Yeah, that is true. Of course, for the people viewing as well, it is a best of 5. So they have now they banned each one map. Now they picked 2 maps, and now they get to ban one each one more time, and then the randomly chosen map as well. And I already see the pool of map. It's quite interesting.
There it is,
What
Grip.
the maps are. Oh, so Frosty and Pool. Frosty got banned, Pool and Grip 50-50. We get Grip. What a map to end on if we get there as well. As we have Control, we have Speed, Airwalk, and Grip. I'm gonna be honest, not the kind of maps I kind of expected when I first think of the maps as well. So we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. But I don't know if any other region has any other preferences. I can't remember at the top of my head how it went for MEA and NCSA, but we'll see how APAC goes along with the maps.
Well, we will have to see that very shortly because all of our picks and bans are done. Let's see if we get into this right away. Here we go. And it will be, of course, heading into that Control E. At least that's what we've been looking over for a while now. And I'm looking forward to seeing those spinners start up.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, again, we also saw a speed pick as well. Like that has been a bit of a map with, a bit of hot topic. Maybe not the map that you usually. Well, a lot of people might say that it can be a bit different in regards to what usually people think of World Tour style. But it is a part of the map pool, and it is a very interesting map as well. But a Vortex to start off as well. I mean, what a way to start APAC. One of the maps that a lot of people fear that it might be not the most consistent one. But as you can see on your screen, Verox Industries with Svet and Planetary Goose versus the Maroons, Noah and Simply Nick as well. I mean, what a way to start off as well. I mean, of course, we have our designated warm-up as well. I mean, just the start of this map is probably one of the most unique ones as well, which I love about this map. It's not the most standard one. Maybe we need to actually explain why the start is like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a lot happening here with the little spinner there. You will have to adjust quite a lot to this track as you come on. I love that they do include something new every time. There's something to adjust to even for these very professional level players.
Yeah, and for those as well, like this is a certified banana map as well. Like banana always has some of the most unique ideas when it comes to World Tour maps as well. As you can see, a segue at the moment, as we see, Planetary Goose has fallen a bit behind, but at the moment there is a 1v1 up front between Noah and Svet as well, and this track is just so many elements. Ooh, a bit of a slide there for Noah, but you can see a bit of the spinner right there. Oh, it looks scary, but that is actually not the scariest part of this map. That's the easiest one. That is actually consistent. That will always shut you off to the left. But here we go.
Oh, Noah.
Noah and Svet going into the first Vortex identity, and we see already a first victim. And everybody at the moment having a bit of a moment here. But Planetary Goose got through. Svet got through on a second attempt, and Noah also. So everybody's getting there, but it's a bit of a rough time. Simply Nick, he's trying.
Yeah.
Is he getting there?
There it is.
He's practicing.
He's practicing, yeah. Fair, yeah.
Thing.
Absolutely, especially if you're coming in a bit cold today, which some of these guys might be. However, the Maroons were the ones in for their bit of a warm-up time well before everybody else. The first 3 points, though, outright victory here going across to Ferex Industries.
Yeah, and it is their map pick, so you would expect them to go for it. Of course, having like Vortex as your first pick as well is very, very, very. I would say a very tough choice because it's just a technical map as well, like overall, and just to start it off as a warm-up map, kind of a bold move. But I mean, Ferex Industries, they have EU team as one of the most boldest and fastest teams, so it seems that the APAC ones are trying to match that claim to fame as well. But overall, I mean, I already am enjoying and seeing the prospects of this map as we already go for the second time around on the identity.
Watching them come through here as well. It's Noah and Planetary Goose up ahead once again. Is Noah actually going to make it through the identity this time? He's made it through the spinners and will be getting a finish early here. But it is going to be a tie here. Simply Nick again following up the back. So, oh my goodness, going to go very high off that. He might choose to use this to practice once more, I think.
I mean, it's the thing is, like, once you hit the side of those are plastic. So basically, as soon as you pop or at least hint of a touch on those, you're gonna go flying to the moon. And of course, to explain the start as well, you might be thinking, oh, why don't they just turn left? It's easy. Why do they go on the spinner? The start block actually has or not the start block, there is actually a no steer block there. So they actually have to use the spinner to turn them towards the checkpoint, and the checkpoint resets them again, and they can start steering. And so, you know, they haven't gone mad. They haven't forgot that they can actually steer at the start.
Whoa, Noah
just coming out of absolutely nowhere. Whoa!
Fast
the speed
line
of the boosters. Oh, that was a fast one. A bit of a rough landing, but you know, they still have to get through the rest of the map.
Yeah, he has lost a bit of position there, but like you said, plenty of map left. Was a bit of a mistake from Planetary Goose there as well, who has fallen way back. He's had to full reset there. And Noah still holding that second position now, might be able to get some points saved here with Simply Nick coming in behind him, but it is looking like Sved is going to lead this one up again.
Yeah, and we see once again that Planetary Goose gets it first time around. It's Simply Nick, definitely not in the Vortex community at the moment, so might have to check the membership on that club, but overall, yeah, you can definitely see that Sved and Planetary Goose are really enjoying this map a lot more than as well. And like I said before, like, the faster you are, actually, the easier that identity is, because you sort of just have to send it, you know, balls to the wall, just go for it. As soon as you hesitate, those pipes smell your fear and you're gonna go flying. That's as simple as that. So don't hesitate, don't fear them, embrace the pipe.
Embrace the pipe, exactly. That's what you've got to learn about this map immediately. Oh, a bit of an error there is going to cost Noah very, very costly there, and Simply Nick still chasing up well behind here though, sometime between himself and Sved there in second place. Planetary Goose leading the charge. Planetary Goose, I do expect him to be able to really come up with some consistency here. I think particularly looking at APAC, across the first stage, we were looking at consistency issues. So that's what I'm looking at here. Obviously, we're not going to probably see that as much out of our first event here into stage 2. We're going to see that consistency appear more and more as the event goes on. But yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking for out of these guys.
Yeah, and I do believe for the first time ever, everybody got through it
First
time
try,
as well through the identity. So, I mean, you ladies and gentlemen, the proof is in the pudding. Vortex identity is consistent. You cannot say otherwise. We have actual visual proof. But yeah, it's the consistency is the most toughest aspect of this map. Of course, when you look at like Challenger or Grand League as well, you sometimes look and just wonder how the hell do they? Those are the harder versions as well. We're
Yeah,
not even
exactly.
talking about the easier versions as well. You just wonder like how the hell do they do this? And it's the amount of practice and hours that just goes into these maps is insane. And some of the times we don't even see the times online because what we alluded to before the show, a lot of teams tend to drive these maps offline, hiding their lines or just putting in the amount of hours just to focus solely on these maps. And you can see, of course, sometimes you see the clear difference as well. As you can see at the moment, like Planetary Goose and Sved are literally a second ahead of the Maroons. So let's see if they can get through this. As Verox Industries, they only need 1 point, but they seem to just now want to make it fancy. End it off with an ace and take their first track point of the APAC Regionals. As Noah somehow gets across upside down. I just switched. Oh, and he has a horn as well. Of course he does. Of course, the designated Mark Bois. Well, it was a pretty Bois because when I clicked on him, he was going through the checkpoint upside down. So I don't know what happened, but pretty somehow he got across still. But and we move on to the next map, Control.
Shame for Nick there as well. Nick actually did make it through once again first try. I think he only made it through first try twice in that map. So we are moving on to their map pick now, the Maroons map pick. You got to expect that to make a bit of a difference. Clearly, Ferox had the advantage in the amount of practice pulled off in that last one.
Yeah. I mean, if you pull Vortex as your first pick, I think it's a clear statement that you've prepared that map because I don't think there's going to be many teams who go like, I have 10 maps. See, Vortex, that seems like a map I want to first pick in my first match of the regional just to warm up. I mean, it clearly does say. But Control. Control is definitely one of those maps that is very noticeable with its undulations, I would say. Like, there's a lot of sections where you go very high, very low, really fast. As you can see, like this is a Cam 1 nightmare going down this hill because you don't see pretty much anything. But there is a lot of this, but these jumps into these bobsleighs, those are basically the bread and butter of this
lethal
map as well. And it's so easy to get that jump wrong as well. And they, at the moment, Maroons showing why they picked this map. They're just flying through this at the moment, like absolutely no trouble as well. And as you can see, we see double the trouble, second jump. You gotta slow down, get a nice smooth
very
landing.
nice.
And it's a clean ace for the Maroons to start off on their map pick.
Everybody making it through that ending fairly cleanly, actually. Planetary Goose did fall behind fairly early there. Didn't lose a lot of time from that point forward. So maybe some consistency there out of Ferox still. But they have to just increase that pace, and that's where the consistency starts to disappear. Because I mean, when you're playing competitively like this, you do have to play it safe at times, especially if you've got the time to lose. Playing it safe is oftentimes the right choice on corners, but when you stop doing that to gain that extra speed, which is what Ferox is going to have to do, that's where you start to see the consistency evaporate.
Yeah, and you have always the discussion of some players, of course, majority of players do play with hot off, as we see Sved having a bit of a moment with the wall. That was a rough hit. So it's Planetary Goose at the moment trying to deny the ace, and with a lot more speed. I'll get back to the topic I was beforehand because, oh my god, that was so close to the checkpoint. Love of God. And he's absolutely sending it, but the landing is rough. But Noah hits the finish block and couldn't get the first place, so it is a draw. But God, I cannot even talk. It's just the action is already there. What a close round, actually. It was just unfortunate for Noah that he hit the finish block there, because I don't know what camera he is usually there. But of course, when you land, it can be pretty blind when you turn towards the finish block. So it can be sometimes treacherous as Planetary Goose goes a bit too inside for that segment there. So again, now it's up to Svet to deny the ace as he's already a half a second behind.
That transition just there, the use of that ramp, the first time you try this track, making your way up that with a good transition and decent grip, it doesn't even seem possible the first time you try. It takes a while. Speaking of good transitions, though, Noah is well ahead right now, really leading the pack. Sved catching him rapidly through that section, though, as Simply Nick follows up behind, though. They should well and truly be able to hold at least a tie here with Planetary Goose 17 seconds behind. Massive wipeout there at some point. But it does look like Sved's been able to hold that first place position and hold the points.
Yeah, and as I was talking as well, like in regards to like overall, like the map itself it's really nice as well, but those jumps into those bobsleighs can be very treacherous because as soon as you jump a bit too low, a bit too high, the thing is when the first jump especially, like you want to sort of exit as soon as the bobsleigh ends, so it's just like a smooth transition. But you said as well, like it's a fair point to make. A lot of these transitions are so up and down. And that one as well, yeah, like, if you don't know the map, I think the first thing you will always do on that map, if you did the discovery, is just full speed, yoink,
yeah, right up
there.
Yep.
But, yeah, exactly. But here you can see you do have to do a lot of throttle management. So a lot of these parts, especially the next one similarly as well, you jump and they release and try to land as early as possible to get the grip and accelerate. And we do have a close round at the moment, but as soon as I say that, a bit of a bobsleigh incident for Noah, and I believe, actually Sved did get through. So it is Simply Nick to hold the line for the Maroons to get another draw in, as he does have a second up front though. So should be fine, surely, right?
Yeah, I think Simply Nick will have no problem on this with the consistency we've seen from the Maroons so far. Actually, pretty different to see Noah, the one really wiping out there. However, Noah's actually going to make it through here in first place. Some major wipeouts there. Simply Nick coming through in third means they will secure point advantage here as well. But the Maroons just continuing to edge ahead.
I hope chat didn't do the usual part because I'm already beginning. I've become the biggest caster curse of the Trackmania World Tour at this point, and I literally made Simply Nick. As soon as I said, "Oh, surely he's gonna get clean," with 1 second he hit the bobsleigh immediately. So again, it seems that I have not left the curse behind. I've been cursing teams throughout the entire World Tour, and probably the reason why I'm never going to get a job as a caster for any team, because I'm probably going to curse them to hell. So if there's any team that wants to pay me to sign for another org
exactly.
You get the win, you know, you can DM me on socials, but
just
yeah, but
hire him to just rip your team to shreds. Every single cast, just predict badly, you will come out on top, 100%.
Yeah, because the problem is, as soon as I start to praise, like when I praise people, like I say, like, oh, Maroon 5s are actually doing really good on this map, like they're getting probably an ace in this round, and then everything goes into shreds. In this case, at least it didn't, because I think I didn't start to curse them early enough. But they do get the track point, which is good. Their map their map track point as well, and that is a good 1-1 scoreline to go us, that goes into speed, I do believe, as our next map. But yeah, like there's like even the Twitter on World Tour has a perfect clip of me just praising a player, perfectly doing flip of faith. He's doing absolutely great. Hunted is silent because he knows exactly what's gonna happen, and then he hits like in the flip of faith. Identity hits the wall, and then Hunted just starts laughing because he knew exactly what was gonna happen.
That's accurate
as well. So yeah, I hope I've left that behind. I'm seeing glimpses of it, but hopefully everything's gonna be fine, and I'm not gonna caster curse anybody. But at this point, it's probably inevitable. But we move on to speed. an interesting map. I don't know what is your opinion on the map when you first saw it. I'm quite interested. What did you first think of the map when you first saw it?
I mean, I'm chasing some decent positions for somebody with my hours, I think. But the problem with being a player with less hours is that the high speed maps just become problematic for me. And this is a massively high speed map, and trying to hold maximum speed can be really, really difficult through the later sections of this. I find the identity absolutely lethal in it.
Yeah, it doesn't have really much room for error,
Yeah.
because if you want to, you cannot take it full speed. You have to release there. So, but the margin of error is so small because the poles are really close to the road. So once you simply Nick gets the landing, plastic does help with some wonky landings sometimes. But in that regard, the identity is very lethal because the poles are really close to the border. So there isn't really much room to actually go through the segment as simply Nick doesn't get the slide going. But we go into the identity now as well. Like it's just you see that the exits are just the thing with the poles as well is they are not like curved with the turn. They're actually the last pole is more closer to the inside as well. So it's very easy to actually hit the final pole on the identity. As Vortex Industries does pick up a win at the moment. So yeah, but that is the first victory for them. But it's very difficult to really put emphasis on this map. It's a very fast-speed map. You do have to release a lot. If people know, NASCAR is a very similar style to this, where you don't drift, but you release and try to get the turns as smooth as possible with as much speed as possible. But it's very easy. You see when they go into this section, somebody releases a bit more, somebody releases a bit much, as Noah hits the wall a bit much, and now Vortex Industries are in an ace position at the moment as Simply Nick is trying to catch up to the rest of the two up front.
I did actually see on his stream Simply Nick talking about, not that this is a NASCAR style track, I would say, but it has elements of it, saying that he is very comfortable with them. However, he didn't seem to be expressing a lot of love for them, so I don't expect this is probably a track that he's put a ton of time into because of that. So that's probably going to cost them here. In saying that, I think that's probably why we're seeing the tracks turn out with the overwhelming victories being in favor of the people who picked the map, the team coming up on top, this time being Ferox, who did make the map pick here again. But we didn't see that last event, actually. We saw the exact opposite. It seemed to be every time a team picked a map, they'd give it away to their opponents. So it kind of refreshing to see this go the way it should, right?
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind that this is like the first regional
True,
as well. Like,
yes,
nobody really knows who is where. Like I remember, I do believe when it was stage 1 as well, it was the same story. That at first, like everybody was sort of taking their map picks as well. But this time, I feel like the maps can be a lot more closer as well, because for this season the routes are more simpler, but the overall pace is a lot faster on a lot of the maps. So like little things can make a big difference, as we see at the moment. Actually, that the Maroons are now in a position to crawl back some points as. Of course, as soon as I say that, Simply Nick gets a bit of a flight on the sausage. So it's up to Noah. Planetary Goose, as far as I've seen, hasn't made a single mistake in the identity. Now watch as he hits the first pole, right? I know, of course not. Actually, he's taking it quite safely, which I'm surprised, but it does allow Noah to slightly get closer, but it's not enough. But you see the difference. He was half a second behind, but he cut it in half, so, you know?
If you know you've got that time through there, absolutely the wise choice to play that safe, though. Any identity, really, if you've got the time ahead, play it safe, because that's where you're going to find the consistency in your wins. If you've got the time that they're not going to catch up with that buffer, just take the time.
Yeah, you can take the time as well, but we've seen already in All-Stars as well, like when we had speed, you saw so many times where somebody was in front and then somebody just absolutely full-sended it and just went past them, like zooming past like Sonic would. Absolutely killer speed. So
gotta go fast.
It's sort of a, the thing with the speed identities, you cannot really be certain. Like you can safe it, But if somebody just goes like absolute maniac through it, you really, even like a half a second gap is not going to keep you safe on that identity. But overall, this track, it has a lot of elements that are not a lot of people are. Of course, you have the zigzag as well, which you gotta, again, sort of bob and weave through it as well. A good setup there is a lot of work here. As we go into the identity once again, and we see the difference. Simply Nick tried to send it a bit, but just clipped the wall there. And with the cruise control, he's gonna cruise his way into second position, which is what's gonna happen. Sved had to respawn, so he's a bit too far behind to really catch up at that point. But Verox Industries now are gonna be at 8-4, only need 2 points. So I mean, the Maroons need 2 aces, which hasn't really looked to happen.
2 isn't unreasonable, but I agree. I just don't see the likelihood out of the Maroons right now. They haven't had the consistency through here. I have seen at peak, simply Nick has been faster than anybody through this. The one map he was ahead, we called it out and he made the mistake almost immediately. But that particular run through, he made a perfect transition, and the line ride through the dirt section was just unbelievable. The speed he brought out of that. I just don't think he could adjust for it because he's probably not used to getting that so perfectly.
Yeah, the one thing I do wonder sometimes about this map as well. You know, of course, you just saw it as well. You have the dirt line and then an absolutely blind jump into the plastic as well. So there is literally no real reference for the jump as well. You just have to know the speed and sort of a line up for it as well. So it can be pretty blind to jump into it. And we are going into the identity, might be the final one. And it seems to be the case as well. Planetary Goose and Sved get it on their first try, comfortably through. And that is an ace, another track point. And our segue into map number 4 as well. So yeah, so far it's pretty much been a script following. I pick the map, I win the map. I pick the map, I win a map. So by logic, Maroons should win the next map.
Yeah, similar margins to 11-4 coming through there. It is confident wins each time from these guys. I agree. It's absolutely the script for them. It's when the wrench gets thrown into the works that things will get interesting, though, when this starts to get really close and maybe even the advantage going the supposedly wrong way, quote unquote. And that might happen here. Airwalk should be an interesting one. This is tough to get a good time on.
I mean, the map itself, like overall, the map build-wise, everything leading up to the identity is actually relatively simple in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like the route itself is
it
very
is
simple.
That identity, though.
Yeah, it's the identity. Like
it's
everything
so
about
hard.
this map. Yeah, everything about this map is very simple. Of course, you can have a bit of a bad jump, but here the best line is to have a bit of a jump, so you can get a nice line towards the next segment. You go for the big jump and go
land
down to
in the
this area.
drift. Yeah.
Yeah, you land in the drift here as well. Overall, this map doesn't have many complicated parts. It's gonna be honest, like everything leading up to the identity can be kind of a cup of the day map. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's very smooth, very simple. There's a few drifts in there. It's a bit unique. You have this no break section as Noah does touch the wall a bit. This drift, but now we get into what we are gonna be seeing in the identity. This is only a taste of what is to come. A bit of a bouncy there. Now we go into the identity, which can be some of the most unique ways to do it. So first jump, first bounce, and
Noah catching up.
Bumper,
oh my goodness!
Oh my god! What a race to the line as well. We end with the draw. I mean, Airwalk can produce some of the best action whatsoever, but of course, you know, you can have some moments where just the bumpers might have a mind of their own. It can happen. But as we all know, Trackmania is a deterministic game, so as long as they do the exact same inputs, it's gonna work the exact same way. I guarantee you that, surely.
I think,
but overall, it's a fun time on this map, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I agree. A really entertaining map. It's probably one of the maps I've spent the most time on this stage, to be honest. I will admit to the fact that that's probably because my time on it is trash, but there's so much to be found as well. Like, yes, this is simple through here, but if you get a perfect line, the speed difference to a just mediocre line is mental. It's absolutely blisteringly fast, particularly that section just there before the finish here. This identity, though, it just makes so much of a difference. Noah is taking it so consistency. This is unbelievable. Noah is so fast through that ending.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, you really, of course, with the bumpers, the important part is you want to be accelerating when you hit them, and you want to hit them as low as possible. So you sort of, if you want to get a lower landing, you sort of have to preemptively release, and then you want to accelerate, because the more acceleration you have when you hit the bumpers, the more it will actually just send you flying towards the finish as well. So it does require a bit of, of course, once you get it down, it sort of becomes muscle memory of when you want to release, but you still have to adapt, because not every bump is going to be the exact same.
No.
Unless somebody's driving with a TAS somehow, but that is impossible at this point. So every time you sort of have to react to the bounce you have, the direction you're going. And so far, at least, Noah has been really good with that as well.
He's going to have to be.
Sved is very far behind, so it's Planetary Goose to respawn and hope to God that they make such mistake that, simply having a bumper moment there. So yeah, the bumpers can be a bit deceiving, but let's see. Noah at the moment is in the lead. He goes for the sideways tilt, lands early, and then full sends it, accelerates and goes for it. Simply Nick gets it, and it's an ace for the Maroons. Again, map picks are really favored for the team that pick them as well. And I see the of course you have it off, but I see the in-game chat myself.
Oh no!
And there seems to be there's a moment as well. I do see that there might be a cause for a pause there for the in-game chat, I believe.
Well, we'll see.
We see that, yeah, because I do believe that Noah is asking for a tech pause here, but the comment.
Noah out of this actually. Completely.
Yeah, I mean, Noah is at the starting block at the moment. That's why. Like, he's having a tech pause. Yeah, it seems, it is a pause for now. So we might get to switch a moment. Oh, they are going. Oh, okay. Well,
probably a tester
as soon as
here.
The pause was called, then it's all fixed. It seems that there was a controller disconnect for Noah.
Right, yes.
As well. So it can happen, but I love what when that Simply Nick had a bumper incident as well, and then I love what he wrote as well. Like, he wrote, I hecking love bumpers in the chat as well. So he's definitely enjoying the map. They picked it, so it's his poison, But I love, of course you keep them hiding, but at least I get to keep an eye on it as well. But, But controller issues aside, it seems that Noah just had it for a moment. Quick resume, and we're back in the game pretty much. And yeah, so
boycott Creedy. He's getting more content than the rest of us.
Yeah, well, I'm like, this is what I get for not being the producer guy. So
exactly.
Get to see all the good stuff. But overall, I mean, when I first saw Airwalk, when the first discoveries was made as well, I first thought, like, what the hell? How is this going to be consistent? But actually, when you drive it yourself, it becomes actually more consistent than you might at first believe. But it seems that this controller issues aside at the moment, Vortex Industries are like, well, you got an ace. We'll just fire back and tie the score, because they are in a ace position and pretty much a second the lead. So Simply has to really send it. He doesn't go for the sideways jump. He goes for the straight element. But it seems that everybody gets it, apart from Goose, who had to respawn and go for the second depth, so it is a draw. But the best strategy there is actually to tilt your car to the left, so the bumper sort of allows you to just go then afterwards straight towards the finish. But, everybody has their own strats, whatever they feel comfortable with.
This first transition there, you can see Planetary Goose getting it right there can provide you a fair amount of speed out here as well. We saw in the first round here of this map how close this can be as well. So every little bit of speed that you get through the more basic parts of this map are going to count massively. And right now, Planetary Goose seems to be nailing them.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen a lot of pace from Planetary Goose and Sved as well, and Noah and Simply Nick have been up there. Of course, it has been more of a case where Noah has been up front and Simply Nick sort of has been the support. When there's a mistake made by Vortex Industries, Simply has been looking to bounce on those mistakes as well. So, it is a good dynamic to have sometimes. Like, you have that one player that always gets fast, and the other player that is...
Oh my goodness,
God, no.
Sved!
Oh, I actually got that!
Sved got Noah though as well. Unbelievable. Sved passed everybody on field just then.
Yeah, oh my God as well. I mean, it's insane. Like, this is what I mean with this identity. You can be last when you go into it, but if you're willing to push it just a bit more, get that low jump, as we see two victims for the first jump, so Simply and Planetary Goose. Well, you just praised Planetary Goose for getting that very nicely in the previous round. Now, Simply and Planetary Goose are the ones having to do a 1v1 in the back with no one Sved up front. And as soon as I say that, of course, Svet has had to respawn. So we have one of those rounds where everybody's everywhere.
Yeah, huge
so
distances
here.
here.
So we get to perhaps see a bit of a 1v1. Everybody gets to show off their airwalk skills in the end. But going back to what I said, yeah, what we saw as well in the previous round, it's just like that identity. It has, even in All-Stars, it produced some of the most insane rounds as well. You saw so many snipes, so many overturns as well. So Noah is our first victim on here. Goes sideways, jumps nice, gets the finish. Svet has a bit of a moment, but gets the jump. Now, Simply Nick and Planetary Goose, well, Planetary Goose gets it. Simply Nick comes in fourth, so everybody gets to show off their airwalk skills. Simply Nick does get it with a bit of a flip as well. Okay, style points for that one. But it is 5-8, and Maroons only need a victory to tie us to a scoreline of 2-2 and taking us to Grip as well. A map that a lot of players have enjoyed, and would be very interesting to see how much of a contested map that it is going to be, as it is a very techie map as well. But first, well, they need the track point, so
yeah.
I cannot jump too far ahead.
If Ferox did take this one as a map that wasn't their pick to go through into the next one, they'd have an enormous advantage there. Actually, sorry, if Ferox took this one, they would just win outright, but Maroons have to win this.
Yeah, but they're at the moment it's looking good for them. I mean, they are in an ace position, but again, they have to get the identity. So for now, it's the famous line: if you have a bingo card, it all comes down to the identity. So here we go. So let's see, Planetary Goose and
watch
Svet both
Simply
are
Nick.
getting the first jump. Where did
Oh my
Planetary
goodness,
Goose go?
Noah.
Where did Simply Nick go? He absolutely went straight like the
oh my
bumper
goodness,
is
Nick!
still...
Twice!
Yeah, well,
right over the first
Did you see what happened to him?
bumper.
Did you see what happened to him in the first jump? He went straight towards it, and okay, I see the in-game chat a bit as well. Like, he went to the bumper, and it didn't throw him sideways. It just went. He went just straight ahead again. Like, it didn't. It tilted for a reason, just to push you to the left.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen, so I guess a bit of a bumper moment there for Simply Nick there. But we are now at the 7-9 scoreline, though, so it's only one round.
Little disappointed there for Simply Nick as well, because that was kind of his moment for that snipe as well. They do remain alive in it though, and more than that, they remain ahead. The Maroons up 9-7 right now. They only need the 1 point.
Yeah, but the Verox Industries need an ace, and this is the final round. 7-9 scoreline means that there is going to be only one last round. No matter what the scoreline is, it will be decided here. So Verox Industries have to get it first try, because Noah is right on the wing, and he's been really good at the identity. So now no mistakes are allowed. Can Verox Industries take the match point here? And it is going to be the case. Ooh, Noah tried, but just was not enough. But Verox Industries, when it mattered in the pressure moment, they got the ace and they get the match point. 3-1. What a close call still. 10-9 the scoreline in that regard. I mean, could have gone either way. I would have loved to see map 5, I'm gonna be honest, but it's just the bumpers got to Maroons that time. You
gotta see the pressure there as well. We talk a lot in other games about the mental aspect of esports, and it comes through here in Trackmania as well. You see Noah there, who had some crazy consistency as we come back to the desk. It's worth talking about the fact that he, time and time again, not only was able to hold a consistent line, a good finish there, but also get those snipes out of it. He was able to come from last to first at times, and when it came down to it at the end there, when the pressure was on, something cracked, Ferox were able to take the win.
Yeah, and with that, actually, round 1 of APAC Regional has ended because there were some matches that gave a TEF win. Because of course, if there is not the exact amount of teams for the bracket, which there are 11 teams, which I think we neglected to mention. So some of them did get a free pass towards the next round. It is a double elimination, but we will be going to round 2 in soon in a moment as well. But I would say, like, for a first match, I think it was a good one. Like we saw a bit of everything. We saw some maps that I honestly didn't expect to see. So, but I'm glad we saw Vortex. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, saw it first up as well. They did that just to please you. I'm sure they were just listening in. All right, let's just turn on stream for a second. Check what the casters want, and we're gonna make that our first pick. That's what they did, absolutely. But
I mean, it works. It works.
Like you said, though, it was a good display. I think we saw kind of what we should be expecting out here. What we're looking for now is the surprise, and we've got more of the day to find that. But for now, we're going to go on a short break. Congratulations to Ferox on the first win of the day, though, and don't go anywhere because Trackmania World Tour will be back with more APAC. Hello everybody and welcome back to our second round match here, and we are heading straight into, if you can see that prediction down below in the chat, it's Miki versus Antic.
Yes, very interesting lineup as well. Actually, Mujiki, well, with the previous lineup with Hayton and SQLC, actually won the stage 1 regional number 3. But this time, of course, they have a new member or a bit of a switch in lineup. Hayton has been switched for Leaf, so I'm interested to see what they bring to this game. Of course, the team that is known, of course, Antic Esports with Careless Kroba and Kelba is a very known name already in the APAC regionals, so I'm pretty happy to see them back and once again in the mix. And I mean, I'm looking forward to this as well because to me, of course, Leaf is not somebody that I have much acquaintance with. I remember the old lineup that he has, so I'm looking forward to what Leaf can bring to the mix as we see the first ban, Speed and Grip. Interesting grip to be a ban map. Interesting. And the blue pool is the first pick as well. So I'm interested to see where they go with this one. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll see just a completely different map pool. Like all the maps we had before, we're just going to get 5 new maps.
Yeah, Antic came fourth out of all of the teams in the last event as well in stage 1. So we are looking for some big results out of them probably here. So look, Majiki actually gave me a really shockingly good show, but they did lose a lot of points over the length of the series because mid-season they had that roster swap, losing half their points for the season, which is super unfortunate for them. But it does leave them still in 7th position, which means I think there's still something to be obtained there for them.
Yeah, that is definitely, and we gotta always be important fact that for all stars, for them it's of course a different story, but it does sort of put a bit of a dent in the road towards World Cup road as well. Of course, for Antic, as they are currently 4th in the Trackmania World Tour, they are of course looking to defend their World Championship slot as well. So that is very important for them. So we see at the moment that they are taking their sweet time. Also, just to mention the map picks, they are actually going to be different. Pool, we didn't have previously. Off-road, we didn't have previously. Frosty, we didn't have previously. Braking, we didn't have previously. Are we just going to get all the 5 maps?
Yeah, they're just showcasing the entire event here in 2 games.
Yeah, this is what I love about. Okay, we do have control, so something we know. So yeah,
that's the random though. We might even not even get to that.
Yeah, but we will see 4 new maps possibly. Well, we will see 3 new maps completely we haven't seen
at
before.
least. Yep.
But maybe we'll see 4 and end up on control. Who knows? I'm looking forward to this one. Like, especially, this is what I love about regionals. You never know what you're gonna get. It's like a box of chocolates. Like this is the perfect example. We get to see a variety of maps. Nobody knows who's gonna play what. Everybody's just gonna pick what they like, and then afterwards we will see sort of a trend. Usually even for regionals. But I love this. Like we get to see all of the maps, and also just a bit of a correction. When I said World Cup, it's World Championships. But potato in the end, whichever way you want to say it. But technically, the correct term is World Championship for the Trackmania esports scene. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited because it's literally all new maps we get to talk about. It's perfect.
Oh, I'm very proud of you, Creddy, for continuing to talk after mentioning chocolate there. That really impressed me. You've got some self-control on you now. I thought we might not hear from you the rest of the stream, just out going for chocolate now. The seed has been laid. He's going to be thinking about chocolate for the rest of the stream. And as we go in, here we go. Majiki versus Antic.
Yeah, Mujiki, the SQLC and Leaf versus Antic Esports, of course, Kelva and Careless Corba. Yeah, but I did have chocolate yesterday. It was really good chocolate, actually.
You're all done for chocolate, are we?
Yeah, well, I don't have any sweets anymore, but I do have a lot of snacks because there's a lot of Trackmania this weekend. Like, it's just there's so much of it. There's an overdose of it, so I have plenty of snacks ready. But we're here for one thing and one thing only, and this is this match: Mujiki and Antic going up against each other. And we start off on pool. Now, for you veterans out there of the Trackmania, well, at least Grand League and all of that stuff, this map is actually a reference to a map called Poolside. one of the maps that was really loved by the previous players, and now we see sort of like the second cousin of it, pool, because the side of the pool apparently has been removed, so we only have pool. But you see this variety. Of course, the identity is very similar to the old one, but the rest of the map is completely different, as you can see. But it flows really well. But there's a lot of mechanics here that maybe at first seem a bit odd when you first go into it. But this is the pool identity. Definitely dip and dive as you go up and down reactors, trying to keep the grip on the identity. And at the moment, Mujiki, perfect round. That's an ace on the board on their map pick.
Kelva struggling through at the end there, a couple of seconds behind, but everybody making a pretty clean run there. I expect that should be the case, though. It's not a particularly tough map to make a clean run on. It can be a tough one to make a fast run on, though. They made it look relatively quick through there, but that water section, the whole identity, can be so incredibly slow if you make even a slight mistake there.
Yeah, it's the wet wheels as well. It's very important to try to mitigate as possible. Like, for example, here, they go through the water pool, they drift on purpose to snap back and to get that smooth steer as well. Because if you try to keep that going, you're just gonna slide into oblivion, into the wall. So there is a method behind the madness. Like, everything they do on this map is for a purpose. So, and it also applies here as well. They drift to get a nice entry. Their wheels are wet, and they try to drift and to just get nice lines going. And again, I mean, Leaf and SQLC are definitely prepared on this one. Another ace. They're making it look effortless.
And look, I asked for consistency. That's what they're showing. Majiki just haven't made a mistake. they're just so clean with this.
And it's good to see as well, like, and it shows, like, Leaf, a person that I'm sure a lot of people, at least for as we see Careless Cobra having a bit of an incident at the start. For me, of course, Leaf is a player or an unknown for me. Of course, it's for the smaller regions, I try to follow them as possible, but my knowledge, of course, goes as far as knowing the regions by World Tour mostly, and I do try to follow as many people I can on socials as well, but not everybody is on social media, and for me, Leaf at least, I mean, he's been putting up a good performance. Of course, he does touch the wall there, but on the first map pick, he's looking to be pretty good, and I mean, he seems to be prepared. There doesn't seem a hint of really that, he's slow, falling behind, and SQLC has to really carry the team. But as I see that, of course, SQLC has absolutely flying off the identity, but you know,
still ahead.
Whatever floats their boat, they're still ahead. They have a comfortable lead.
Oh, small tap at the end there. Nearly let Kelva catch up. Careless Cobra well behind as well. Do you mean that Mujiki are actually going to be threatening to take this in a perfect sweep?
Well, that would be a nice way to start off your day. Well, as they first started off with, well, they didn't have to play the first round because they got a bye win in the first round. But now that when they are actually playing, I mean, what a perfect way to start off your day. First match, get a clean
ace the whole
map,
thing.
12-0.
Yeah.
What a way to start off your day. I mean, for me, it is morning time. For them, it's a bit later. So hopefully for them, the sun is shining, and it seems, at least for Mujiki, I mean, the map itself is definitely shining them with a lot of aces, and it seems to be a nice, clean win as well. Unless Careless Cobra is going to do something about it.
You can see, though, that there is that first map pick advantage as well. Like, you're always going to make... That first one is usually going to be the preference of the entire series, right? And Mujiki wanted this. They wanted pool, and you can see exactly why. Leaf, of course, I think Leaf was the new bring-in for the team as well, or the reason they've lost half their points for the season. So I gotta say, I mean, if you're gonna sacrifice it early in the season for a swap this good so far, at least, I can't deny it's not a bad move.
Yeah, I mean, previously, of course, for those who don't know or missed when we first mentioned it, Mujiki did have Hate Tone and SQLC, but with our roster swap or to change Hate Tone out, they switched it out for Leaf. But so far, I mean, Leaf has produced a pretty good performance. Nothing to really scoff at the moment. As we move on to off-road, so a map I don't know really how to feel about it. The identity is actually quite simple, in my eyes. It can be sometimes a bit blind to go through, but it's the rest of the map that can be quite treacherous. But again, it flows really well, which a lot of the times World Tour maps do. But there's a lot of elements where you have to jump, you have the ice, you have a lot of transitions here. So you kind of quite often clip here, to be honest. But we'll see. It was the pick of Antic Esports, so let's see what they've been actually cooking up. As we did see an early mistake by SQLC. So at least for now, Antic Esports, let's see what they can do on this. But Leaf, I mean, he's just going absolutely in his own way.
This uphill is so steep. If you make a mistake there, you can actually not make it up there at all. And then you move straight into this section up here with one of the toughest ice slides I've ever had to deal with in a campaign. This is really hard, and it does take the practice coming out there. You see a mistake straight away there. Leaf now leading and Kelva following up.
Yeah, a quick hot tip on that ice. Recommended, always release. When you go onto the ice, just because you avoid the gear up there. So, you know, people out there in matchmaking, just release before the ice and you should be fine. Then you can full steer into it. But Leaf, I mean, takes the first win, and with an additional mistake by Careless Cobra, I mean, SQLC comes in third. So definitely Leaf, I mean, whatever he has had for breakfast for today, I mean, he's definitely prepared, and definitely not at least the substitution or the roster change definitely is looking to be a very good change. At least nothing really lost for Mujiki, and they're looking really nice, and that is good to see. Sometimes it can be when you make changes, you never know what you're gonna get, especially with the regionals as well. Maybe not all the players are so well known as well, but it's good to see at least so far. Leaf is, I mean, I'm really happy that Leaf is doing so great at the moment, and that's a good sight to behold. But okay, at least I didn't jinx.
SQLC.
So
under the arch there in the arm through the checkpoint. A really nice move, but not able to keep the pace up. Does mean that they are looking down the barrel of a draw here. If Antic can't change something up in the last second. We already saw that there is actually a backup route if you make the mistake that we might have just seen here from Kelva as well. He will make the normal route, but if you don't, you can go down that left-hand side. There's a row of boosters there just to get you to the checkpoint at least. Nobody had to use it that time around.
Yeah, and we saw SQLC absolutely blitzing past the competition through the identity as well. Like, Kelva had a bit of a touch and he has to fully respawn at the start. So it's up to Careless Cobra to deny some points from Mujiki. But it's good to see. Like, I really enjoy this map as well. It flows well, but yeah, again, as soon as you make little mistakes there, as Cobra hits the wall, then this map becomes so much more tougher to go through. Of course, there are several lines. You can see Leaf goes for the triangle method. That is actually the line that most people do go for because it sets up very nicely for the ice part. So a lot of people actually go for that triangle. It can be quite treacherous if you miss it a bit, of course. You can hit the checkpoint, but it's a very nice line to have, and it is faster, and it looks cool
substantially.
Well, so.
Yeah, that's what he made last time as well, but he just was unable to hold without a second mistake through the track. It would have made him up a lot of time, but this time he's ahead and he makes it, so that's just bragging rights.
Yeah, that is indeed so, and we do have to keep in mind as well, like, we talked about this a bit as well, like Mujiki, of course, did get the points reduction for the roster change as well, but at the moment they are just looking to absolutely just blitz through the competition. Just tactic is win every region, and then we are back to our old points, or even better, you know.
Yeah, just win every matchup, and it's not an issue, right?
I mean, it's a simple life. Trackmania is a simple game. Press gas, turn the car, and win every match.
Yeah.
And of course, in this round, the SQLC has a bit of a moment there. But I mean, just win. How hard can it be? Like, we always say this. It's just it's that easy, right? Just win. Which of course it isn't. If you're so ignorant to think that it is that easy, then you haven't definitely played these maps. As we see, the ice is catching the members of Antic quite off, and it allows again SQLC is back into second position, and with only needing 2 points, an ace is going to be an easy point distribution. Yeah, they gave 1 point to
And
Antic,
that's
but
going to be it.
apart from that,
Yep.
it's a clean race for them. 11-1. I mean, Mujiki, even if it was Antic's map pick, they are just playing better. There's nothing really else to say. They're just clearly showing that why they are ready to take this regional by the horns.
I mean, with Leaf just coming into the roster as well, really all we needed to see was from Leaf right this second was the potential. Was coming in and showing some consistency. Not only is he doing that, he's coming up as the MVP a lot of the time through these games, getting first position through and getting first position with some crazy speeds behind it. So Leaf has more than proved his worth on this roster.
Definitely the case. But now, the map that probably a lot of people feared that could become the Gyroscope 2.0, it is a Frosty. Again, the map itself is actually really fun to drive. Like, hitting those 360s, which you will see in a moment, is probably one of the most satisfying things to get right, because if you do get it right, it feels so good to go through the map as well. But well, we'll let the drivers give you a bit of a course through the map, so you get to see what is going to happen. With the first one as well, a bit of a flick of the wrist as they go onto the grass.
I love that mechanic there.
It's a fun map.
It is.
A fun little
but
flick.
The thing about fun maps is, though, usually the entertainment factor is coming out of the challenge, yeah? So when you come into a competitive scene and you're looking for a win, challenge isn't always necessarily what you want. However, the challenge seems to be being given to the opponents right now. Mujiki are coming up well, except for Leaf, going to lose out there. It is Kelva chasing up, but with some distance behind, is going to have to nail the identity through the ending here if he wants any chance of taking down SQLC.
God forbid, I need binoculars to see SQLC that far ahead. God forbid, Gala, can you get a bit closer? We need a bird's eye view. But now we go on to the double 360. Well, not one 360 as you go into the finish. SQLC keeping it nice and clean. Everybody actually gets through it first try. Leaf, also the same.
Yep.
I mean, the thing with this map is as well, like, once you get the mechanic down of the 360s, it actually is really well. And for this map, they've also included a no grip block in the end. So there's no way you can actually slide out as well, or because that's something that can happen on ice a lot. If people know the dreaded wedge or the gears that can cause you to slide out as well. Yeah, but Leaf going really into it as well. But Kelva is still there. I thought he made a mistake, but he has just fallen a bit behind. But overall, like, this map, when you get those 360s right, it's just one of the most satisfying tracks to play as well. It flows well, flows nice. There's nothing really much complicated. It's the 360s that just had that hint of spice to it. Just enough to keep it interesting, in my opinion.
Still coming through here, looking like Mujiki just dominating, and this is back to their map pick as well. Antic able to pick up 1 point early here. That was all they got last map, so might happen again here. Mujiki did manage to get the ace in the first one as well, so they're on a path to very few points lost here. This is great work from the two of them, and followed up by a pretty clean finish from Antic as well, but both behind will mean Mujiki get the ace once more.
Yeah, so far, I mean, it's been a clean display. Like, Mujiki definitely showing what can be done. If you are prepared on the maps, you have driven them, you've been practicing them, what clean performance looks like, and Mujiki definitely have been the better performer today. Of course, Antic Esports have been up there, but of course those little things that make the difference here, as we see the double the trouble, and Kelva also needing to respawn, and he's even further behind.
It's gonna be one of those maps.
It's the little things that have it's the little things that have gone wrong for Antic, but overall they've been fast, but it's just that those little things do tend to compound a bit. And with Leaf and SQLC being really comfortable and very confident in what they're doing, I mean, it clearly shows that they are enjoying their time. Maybe not so much this round, at least from SQLC's perspective. So, you know, you can have those odd rounds, but overall, I mean, they've been having a good time. and Antic Esports, well, they've been trying to play catch up this entire match,
Oh.
but I mean, but we'll have to wait and see. But Careless Cobra is
Might
trying to
have the
get closer,
chance.
and he actually passes him as well.
Oh.
Right. Oh, and I think Kelva
A
can also.
big,
Oh, okay.
big mistake from
Oh.
Leaf again. Oh, just makes it through, but he's third, and the ace is going to go to Antic. They're getting some points back, going 4-4.
I was just praising how good and well Mujiki are doing, and then everything just combusts. It's happening again.
You're
I
making them
fear it's
nervous.
happening
Stop
again.
it.
It's happening again. The beckoning of Greedy's caster cursing is again I praise the entire team. What happens? SQLC and Leaf have an absolute combustion on track, and it seems that at the moment it is falling a bit over to the next round, as SQLC didn't have the best flick, but Leaf is definitely in contention, and I think Careless Cobra did touch the wall, but it's looking to be a bit of a back and forth map. At first sight, it did look that Majiki were gonna take it a bit more comfortably, but I guess I think it was me who perhaps talked a bit too soon to write Antic off a bit, because at the moment it seems to be at least, one is in front, one is the other. Leaf is looking to be more comfortable, but he did have a bit of a moment in the last round.
Kelva being overtaken here by SQLC, who is going to take the better line through there as well and get that double stack ahead here. Now Kelva coming through, trying to get anything out here, but it won't be the victory. It will be the ace once more for Mujiki.
Yeah, and that is now match. Well, it's track point and also a match point if they get another ace back to back. This is what I was wondering about Frosty, is it going to be one of those maps where we're going to see a lot of aces, because it's such a niche map to pick as well, that the team that is picking, well, usually, probably, if they're gonna pick it, they must have more confidence going into this, and it might result in a lot of aces. Of course, as soon as we talk about that being like a preference pick, of course, Leaf has one of the odd rounds where he does make a major mistake, so it puts SQLC in the driving seat to keep at least a hold of the draw, or maybe not getting Gounder aced once again. But looking good so far for the at least for SQLC. Draw is looking good, so let's see if Kelva has anything to say about it.
It's hard to say it's not looking good for Antic too, though, because this is just the first time they've seen more than 1 point. That's immediately
that
looking better for Antic, but it's not a win. It is still behind right now, and they're looking to just see that continue, as they can't make a gain here. SQLC will make sure that is a draw, and Leaf coming in behind. He'd make some good efforts to catch the pack there, but not there in time to make that anything but the draw.
Yeah, but now it only allows for Mujiki to just draw ever so closer to that match point. They only need now 2 points, so Antic really need an ace right now, or if they get a victory, then it will be one round where they have to ace. So ideally for Antic, an ace is what they would love. But it seems that Leaf is really just going absolutely ham on the map now. Again, back in the leading position, where Leaf has been most of the match, and especially on this map. And with Careless Cobra being a second behind, but Kelva is really sending it. So he really doesn't want them to get that point there. So again, looking, I mean, there's gaps, and SQLC makes a mistake. So a bit of pressure on Leaf. He has to now stay up front to at least grab a point, so Antic don't get the ace here.
Leaf well ahead. Once again, Leaf proving his worth on the team and coming up as that MVP. Almost every round, Leaf has been the one leading up the front. Kelva making a big mistake there. Might just make this less than a draw, as well as Careless Cobra. A bit of an issue there, but SQLC didn't make the catch-up run. We might just have beaten out Kelva. Oh, barely to it as well, but it will be a victory again for Mujiki, and they will take the game and the match. That is Mujiki coming through with that's a blistering fast result across most of those maps. Really big win for them. Yeah,
and ever so confident. I feel like if it's very hard to say to compare Haytone and Leaf. It feels like, to me at least, the team hasn't really lost much in their confidence or in their speed as well. in some aspect, of course, these are completely new maps, so it's very hard to like compare from before as well. But at the moment, I mean, Mujiki looking to be a very hot contestant for the next play day as well, because
Yeah.
with this match they are qualified for the the quarterfinals of that as well, which we will be actually playing through as well. So because quarterfinals will be happening today as well, but
Yep.
I do believe that we can jump into another match, because I do believe that there is the Dynasty versus Verox match that is still underway, so we might be able to jump in there.
We'll be having a look at that one, but
Yeah,
you've got to have a look at whether Majiki can get those points as well. That top four is so important right now. There's 4 teams already there, obviously. Vobi, Dynasty, Arena, Esports, and Antic, who just got taken down in unceremonious fashion by Majiki as well. If they can do that to a top 4 team, Majiki, they look dead to rights, like they're going to get that top 4 position. Would you agree?
I mean, at the moment, what we have seen from the teams, Mujiki so far has been the most convincing team so far. So I'm looking forward to them going towards the finals as well. So hopefully we get to see more of them as the tournament progresses. Of course, we have other matches that are still underway. I don't know if you've already made it onto the server or not. But I'm already
Making
Speedy
my way.
Gonzalez, already Speedy Gonzalez on the server. Just to give you a heads up already, the score is 1-1 in track points between Dynasty and Verox. So at least we're coming in on a pretty good time to come in.
And pretty even in the game too.
Yeah, so far they are on off-road and it's 2-3. So definitely looking like a very competitive match. Again, very familiar names. Dynasty, of course, you have Kimi and Pixels. A familiar name from the APAC Regionals if you followed the stage 1. And they were sort of the team that gave a run for their money for Mujiki and at the time Vobi as well. But of course, as soon as I say that, Pixels hits the wall. So quickly switch on to somebody else. I'll just ignore what I just said.
It is off-road though. I mean, you expect the mistakes to happen and you can regain that back, I think. But not if Kimi's going to lose his spot as well here. I think this might be one for Ferox. And it should be Dynasty's map pick here. Map 3 should be blue side as well. So this Kimi, oh my goodness, insane speed through the end there to make back a point. But it will be a victory at the very least for Ferox.
Yeah, of course, we don't know how the previous maps went. Did it go the way that one took the other map person's pick? Could be possible.
Yeah, true.
You know, because at the moment it's looking like that the Verox Industries are looking to take the map pick of Dynasty. And I feel like this is going to be a reoccurring thing throughout the season as well, because a lot of these maps are going to be a lot more closer, I feel like, compared to the previous map pool. So I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this is gonna be something that will happen a lot more often this stage than the previous one, where we see a lot of contestation, or at least to go for the other team's map pick, as Fed has a bit of a moment there. I don't think he even can make up the hill. Barely does. But I think that's something to think about as we go throughout the regionals. But for now, at least, Dynasty are trying to catch up, but I mean, Planetary Goose, we saw him before, and he's doing well again.
Kimi with issues on that exact same spot on the ice as well. Not that he isn't making it through, but a lot of speed lost, and did pick it up last time. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to pick that back up, but the mistake from Planetary Goose meant it did not matter. It's an ace for Dynasty.
I literally just complimented Planetary Goose as soon as I finished my sentence. He clipped.
Yeah, it happens.
I can't. I don't
Every
know
time
what to do.
it happens.
I just cannot give compliments to anybody.
You're not allowed. The universe. Yes, just every time you want somebody to win, just go for the throat. That's the.
Apparently, because I cannot say anything nice. As soon as somebody has I say something nice, I think they just blush in game. Have a people shy or people cute moment. And
they've all got the stream on, and they hear you, and they're like, oh, get a bit embarrassed, make the mistake.
He said something nice to me. Oh, corner. And so that's how I feel like at the moment.
Oh.
But again, going back into the game, Planetary Goose and now having a bit of a moment has to respawn. But Sved had to slide out. Pixels sort of catched it, and Dynasty are going for a back-to-back ace at the moment, looking to take their map pick eventually. Still in the end, well, they do need an extra point if they get an ace, but
Comfortable
going 4
position.
points ahead, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
Let's
like
see
they
how it
will as
goes.
well. Pixels is going to take that second spot. And there's quite some gap back to anyone from Ferox. They will make it through here. Planetary Goose followed up by Sved. But like we were just saying, comfortable position now for Dynasty. They should be as well. I mean, this is Dynasty is sitting in second position for APAC right now, up against Ferox in fifth.
Yeah, and Dynasty was constantly, like when we had the regionals in the stage 1, they were constantly either in the finals or semi-finals every single time. So there is a reason why they are one of the favorites to grab more points throughout the stage and keep their high rank as we go, of course, closer to All-Stars and, of course, the World Championships. Ooh,
Look at that!
He has a bit of a hop and skip throughout the section and has to fully respawn. So
yeah.
a bit of a moment there, but it now means that Pixels actually has to just get
Whoa,
into
Pixels!
first.
What a line! Misses that corner by a pixel.
So,
yeah, crazy tight.
Exactly.
Makes position for it.
Yeah, Planetary Goose and Sved, though, make the exact same mistake, but at the moment, Pixels is so far ahead, but by the time the others get to the identity, Pixels has finished. That's it. There it is. That's the map.
Gimme gonna ace it too.
And they're gonna ace it to add insult to injury as well.
Yeah, and it looks like at least Planetary Goose has decided that he's just gonna have a picnic here, waiting for his teammate to go past, calling him back for some chocolate-covered strawberries or something like that. They might need the comfort.
I mean, I could make the joke I made from stage 1, but I think I can serve it up for last time. But I'm not gonna say it this time, so we'll keep the stream PG-13 and keep it at a picnic at the moment.
Just a picnic.
Don't even think anything of it, chat. Just focus on the match. We have grip. Which
no questions. They're not allowed.
Yeah, no questions asked. We have grip. We haven't seen this map yet today, so we see
Love
pretty much
grip.
we're gonna see the entire map back today, and we've only seen 3 matches pretty much. So APAC definitely enjoying the variety of maps we have. We're not having like the same maps over and over and over again. It's just a plethora of variety. And we have grip this time. A map that a lot of people enjoy. Like
I love this.
Really fun to do. Like
this is my favorite map of the stage. Absolutely, of stage 2. This comes up as number 1 for me. I know it's not the signature, quote unquote, but what a signature start as well. I love going up that ramp, spinning around, sending it backwards. It's just fun.
I'm sure everybody knew exactly that they needed to get that checkpoint when they did the discovery. I'm sure nobody just went straight and didn't look at the signs that were pointing towards the right. You know, gotta go right first. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people missed that the first time they drove. Ooh, but Planetary Goose gets the water, hop and skip. Yep, you can actually fly out of the water, and that allows for Dynasty to now go up in front. As we are in the identity, that little edge, you know. You can really push the limits. You can
see the fear in Kimmy.
Wheels. Yeah, you can just push it to the point where you are actually just driving on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
But it's an ace to start them off. But it's just so much fun to watch where they're like on the teetering edge, like almost tilting over the edge, but just barely keeping the grip.
I appreciate the safe from Gimme there though. Like he just wasn't willing to risk it. They had the time to spare, and like we were talking about before, if you've got that time, use it. Make your run consistent, over quick. If you're wanting to compete here, you need wins, not speeds necessarily.
I mean, there is literally a map called Speed, so you technically need
that's true.
speed
You need
in
speed.
your repertoire
You need
to
speed.
win, probably. So you might need speed as a map to win, but not necessarily in the match. Sometimes just a clean run, you know, can do you wonders, but, you know, there's always the chance, like, if I go safe, then somebody might just take a bit more risk and go faster than me.
Can someone check on Kimmy?
In a nutshell.
Kimmy is not okay right now.
Taking a nice stroll through the water.
Scenic route, yeah. Oh, there we go. First one off the edge.
Yep.
That's what we were waiting for. SVD in. Oh, does he get it?
Oh,
No,
right
Pixel
on the
snipe
line.
it because of the high finish.
Yep. I think, I believe Sved had a bit of a touch on the inside, so he had to go for the lower finish, but Pixels with the speed jumps and gets the snipe in the end as well. So what could have been actually an ace for Verox Industries ends up being a draw after all of that is done. So 4-1 for Dynasty, and I mean, that's why this map is so much fun. Like, you can push it to the very limits, but once you make that little mistake in that identity, then all of the things, all the cards get just shuffled around. But that's identities in a nutshell. But on this one, you really don't want to make that mistake because
Oh.
the rest of the map is mostly clean, driven, and you can see everybody's really close. Oh my God,
Ooh,
Kimi
Kimi.
went for a
Yeah.
really low jump there. But you can see everybody's neck and neck as we go ever so closer to the identity. Unless somebody has a water incident. as
Oh,
Pixel does.
Goose. A lot of speed through that
they're on
section
the
as well. It's going to snipe the first position. Can he hold it, though? Through the identity now into this section, you have to really manage your speed through there. The slightest bit too much momentum, and you will just come off this, whether you're at the top or the bottom. And then you've got the threat of the posts just finishing you in that top as well. But they do manage it. Ferox are going to take it back to an even game.
Yeah, that is the ace that didn't happen before. But I'm gonna be. I know maybe I should not. I'm not gonna leak stuff because I have the Open Planet plugin as well on my end, and I see the inputs of the players when they're driving. And I did notice something peculiar when some of them were driving through them. But probably I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'm leaking stuff. So I'm gonna keep it on my own. I'm keeping it a secret. You know, I did notice some interesting stuff happening in the identity. So maybe people. Maybe there's some strats that have been shared around and stuff, so I'm really interested to see. But there's a lot of replays, of course, online, so you can always look them up. People can download replays and digest them input by input nowadays. So nothing really is secret nowadays, to be honest.
Kimi keeping up this time. Kimi might be facing some slight internet issues here, which it might not seem like a lot to you guys, but the distraction of having the other players, 'cause what we're seeing in that jumping for us will be what he's seeing for all of the other ghosts. And that can be quite a distraction. Planetary Goose going to come first by a small margin here. Pixels and Kimi follow up, and it will be split, a draw coming in.
Yeah, maybe we do have to slightly avoid expecting
Yeah.
Kimi because it is a bit of a headache, but you know it's not, of course, his fault. You know, it does tend to happen sometimes, and I'm sure that for him it can be somewhat distracting. Maybe, but I'm pretty sure he plays hot off as well. Most players do when they play. Sometimes you do turn it on just to check the caps or where everybody is, but your car does have the indicator on the back telling you what position you are in.
Yeah.
So technically you can play the entire match without turning the HUD on. But at the moment, at least, we see Verox Industries, they are looking pretty good. They're map pick, and they're in an ace position. And with Pixels making a big mistake early on, I mean, Kimi really has to push it to get in front. But at the moment, Verox Industries looking to get an ace and go 3 points ahead.
Yeah, Ferox should be their map pick here as well, so it is expected to see them come up big here. But it shows that distance between 5th and 2nd place here out of that last event is not all that different here. Oh, won't take the ace though. SVD, he's not made that clean at the end there. Had to take the low exit, and Kimi gets in between. Pixels coming up very late here, but it will be a 1 point lead now from Ferox.
Yeah, but crucially, track point distance. If they get the ace, they are through towards the final map as well. And we don't know what it is, so for us it's gotta be a pleasant surprise. I hope it's something good. But first, again, like we mentioned last time in the last match, it's not over until you cross the finish line. So yes, Verox Industries are only an ace away from taking the point, but with Sved hitting the checkpoint there, he has to go for the safe route. And it seems that maybe he hasn't practiced it that much because he completely misses it. So it is up to Planetary Goose to hold on to the draw as Pixels and Kimi are trying to chase. And Pixels is really close, so it's a 1v1 at the front at the moment.
Yeah. At the back, it was a similar mistake made from both Kimi and Sved at the beginning, but there's been a bit of a more of a gap there as well. So it looks like Kimi has secured 3rd here, but Oh my goodness, Pixels just snaps around that post at the end and will be able to take that second spot with no question about it. And it will be just a straight up follow the leader gameplay here into the finish line. Oh, within win
that is the great
distance for Ferox now. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's getting ever so closer. And yeah, that inside pole, like, you really want to turn in as early as possible. But it's just so tempting, you know. You see the finish line right in your eyesight. You're like, I really want to turn in. I really want to stop this steering and just get to the finish line as quick as possible. But yeah, you know, as soon as you go a bit too early, that pole is right there to remind you that patience is a virtue. And sometimes you gotta take it into consideration. But we have our round on our half because everybody's neck and neck here, like absolutely
this is
nothing
as close as we've seen.
Them. Oh, let's see how it goes though. Oh, Pixels up in a hop and skip, and the water strikes again.
And Ferox
it's not
now.
Empire that strikes again, but it is the water this time.
It is Revenge of the Fifth right now. If you're a Star Wars diehard, and May the 4th be with you yesterday. Now,
true,
coming through.
There it is.
There it is. It is Day of the Sith. There we go.
Day of the Sith. And this time it is the red color that is victorious. Verox Industries take the track point. And we are going into our first decider map of today. I wonder what it is. My money is on pool. Let's see if I'm right. Sinuous. Another map we haven't seen.
There we go.
I mean,
that's got to be covering everything basically at this point. Yeah. We're close.
Yeah, I think it is actually everything. I'm gonna be honest. I think it is. We've seen all the maps at this point, unless I'm mistaken somehow. But yeah, I feel like those are all the maps this time. And Sinuous was the last one. I can of course quickly double check that, fact check the caster as always. Somebody's probably already saying
in the chat they're ripping you apart. Yeah, exactly. See, chat, so that's what you sound like.
But to be honest, yes, we have seen all the maps: Control, Crypt, Pool, Frosty, Breaking. Actually, Breaking. We haven't seen Breaking yet. There you go. So there's one map we haven't seen yet. Breaking is the one.
We've got plenty of matches left to cover today as well. So.
True.
The potential is there.
Sinuous, the full Speeda map of the pack. I feel like there is speed slides you can do on this map, and it is the decider map. So technically, none of these teams picked it. So we'll have to wait and see what they actually have been cooking up on this map. And as at the moment, at least, looking good for Verox. They are up front, but Pixels is definitely contesting the planetary goose.
Oh, there it is. Pixels making the move. Good line through there. Cuts it just that little bit tighter and lands nicely as well. Should be able to hold this. The finish on this I don't find all that difficult. Probably one of the easier of the identities this season. But I kind of love it too. Like, it is a fun high-speed finish on this.
Yeah, you can definitely find, if you get a good entry into it with all of that speed you carry on from the previous section, you can definitely snipe people on the line there, but there isn't much room. But, there's always that greed that is there. You want to just go a bit more straighter, and as soon as you clip one part of that plastic, Auf Wiedersehen, you're in the APAC astronaut program, and you're gonna be flying off. But so far, at least, everybody got it clean, and we got a draw out of it in the first round. But you see some of the speed slides, Pixels and Gimme both going for the speed slide. I'm sure the full speed community would be very proud of them. But look at that speed. That's just so satisfying to get that turn
crazy,
right. Some people actually drift that corner all the way. But I do believe it on the easy version, it's better to actually just full NASCAR it. But in the world record, it's actually being drifted all the way. So, again, various ways to do it. But there's, in this match at least, it's looking Dynasty at least in a victory position at the moment. Realistically,
though, if you're here in competition, you shouldn't be hitting world records. Because you're trying to get the consistency out. If you're chasing a world record, you are cutting corners too close to be consistent.
I mean, it's all part of the show. Yeah, you gotta
show. Yeah, that's true.
Win it. Sometimes
you gotta represent Dynasty well, right?
I mean, exactly. And for my experience, when I play competitions, as well. Like for me, it's usually I have a really time attack mentality, so I'm used to just doing the lines that are like world record lines, which can of course sometimes backfire. But I feel like risking it is the comfort as well. Like as soon as you have, I'm sure a lot of people know when, at least when you played competitions, when somebody says, "Oh, you can save," you absolutely lose all of your 2 brain cells and you don't know how to drive the map. So because as soon as somebody says, "Oh, you can save it," wait, what? And then you start doing awkward lines, and that 2 seconds all of a sudden is gone. So I don't know how it affects these players, because at the moment it's pretty neck and neck, as Kimi only has a little bit of a lead, but I feel like Goose has a lot more speed, and I think he can actually overtake it, and he indeed does.
Sved as well, so close. Oh my goodness. There is very little between, realistically, all 4 players there. Pixel's a bit more of a gap to him, but Sved, Kimi, and Planetary Goose all way up the front there. That was a close contest.
Oh, definitely. And this is what this map is. If the players on the map are like generally to the same extent, because there is not a lot to this map as well. When you take this map apart, it's the start that is crucial. You have the speed slide, and without even noticing, you're already at the identity on this map. It goes past really fast because it's so fast-paced to begin with. So like we're already pretty much all at the halfway point of the map without even noticing. And you have 1 ice slide, 1 speed slide, and you're at the identity. So this map really goes past fast. A lot of rhyming words. I really struggled there for a moment.
Kimi did get that full slide there as well that you were talking about. It's really nice when you talk about something the player's like, right, I'm going to set out to prove the casters right. That's going to be Planetary Goose in first place again, but it will be a draw here. Ferox holding their lead.
Yeah. But they are edging ever closer. Only 4 points needed. They aren't really there. Of course, if Dynasty now pull out an ace, they're in a good position. But it seems that both of these teams are definitely well versed in the map. It's been very close rounds all the way through, and it's always been like a little thing that maybe someone's line is a bit faster, willing to push a bit more. So the identity hasn't been the one to decide the map. It's actually the rest of the map who's willing to push a bit more there, who's going to go faster there. So far, at least the identity hasn't really pushed anybody out of their position. And everybody's gotten it pretty clean, to be honest.
Good chase up by Sved, but he lost a little bit of speed early on, and he's continuing to lose some time through this. Kimi also a little bit of a gap there, but Pixels and Planetary Goose are neck and neck. Pixels maybe pulling away just slightly. Planetary Goose trying to take the inside line, cut out a little bit of the track there, but going into the identity, it will be down to the wire. Pixels going to take it out. Kimi following up Planetary Goose there, and Sved coming in last there. But Ferox, they are only 1 point ahead now, and an ace could take it for either team.
Yeah, that is true. Well, if Dynasty get the ace, for example,
need
then
one
we
more,
will
but,
have one final round, because then it's that dreaded 9-7 scoreline.
Yep.
Scoreline where you only need 1 point, but for some reason, all the time, it happens to be that the other team gets the ace still.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's sort of like the mentality. It's like in CSGO, you have the scoreline. Like, I remember there was the meme about the 11-4. Like, every time somebody went 11-4 up, but
Pixels.
we see a major crash there. I think it was...
Pixels is out, yeah. And with how perfect this has been raced so far, they needed this to be perfect again. Kimi might be able to bring this back a bit here. Good line through that ice slide. And coming in through towards that identity, we'll have to hold this. Does have a good, decent lead here. Really, really fast finish from Kimi will secure that is a draw. And now it really is anybody's game.
Definitely. So, well, 56 is not the fastest time in the world. We've seen faster times on the round, but you know, if you're first place, it can be 1 minute and 30 seconds. If it's a first place time, you take it any day. So it's very important for Dynasty to keep in line as well, because both teams are on match point now.
Was that pressure as well? That was a full second ahead almost by first 2 second place there, even though it was slower.
Yeah, and we see at the moment Ferox, most of the time Ferox are actually up in front, but Pixels or Kimi, either or, Pixels touches the wall again, so now again Kimi is put in a position where he has to push the very limits. He was able to do it last round, so he has to now do it again. Draw is the best he can
that's
get,
fast.
but at least he will be in throwing distance from the team.
Inside
nice
line.
Uses the wall a bit, you know, gets a bit of a help there, but Sved is still up front. Can Sved hold it?
Oh,
though?
the speed slide?
The speed slide. Oh, but is it enough though? I don't think it is.
I don't think he's got the pace. And Planetary Goose as well. Oh my goodness. There it is. Ferox Industries. They hold their lead and increase it right at the end with an ace to finish. And they will take the map.
And there it is indeed. Well, what a way to end the map. Well, close match as well, like back and forth. And we got a really good showcase of Sinuous as well. I mean, it could have gone either way, but Ferox Industries keeping the name proud as it is in EU, definitely in APAC. They are keeping that name high in the standings as well, because with that result, they are also qualified for the playoff stage as well. So something to keep in mind as we go as well. So we already have a few teams that have been going through as well. We have some results, for example, Restless with Red Bolt and Winky Face, beat Trident Storm, then that is Neumat and Divianch. So we already have a few results coming and trickling in. So if you want to, of course, there is a command. I do believe it's still there, ! APAC, which will take you to the Wikipedia page as well. So definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep track of what's going on, and we will as well, because there's been some big wins on stream right now, and we are seeing the new rosters come up quite happily today as well, but there's still more action. So we're going to go for a quick break. You guys don't go anywhere. Hello everybody and welcome back. We are down in our lower bracket now with one team going home out of this and one heading forward into the quarters. Is it going to be Trident Storm or the Maroons?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we've seen Maroons before, but at least on the main cast, Trident Storm is something that we will get to see for the first time as well. For those who don't know, the players are Devianch and Neumann, so looking to see, and the pick and bans are going fast.
Yeah, we've had to go straight into this. I know that you were planning to just early curse the team you want to win, right? So, who are you looking at here? Who needs the backing? Maybe is a better question.
I mean, at this point, I just have to slander every team for them to do good. So,
Exactly.
I mean, let's just say Trident Storm, they've been having the worst time of their lives. They're going to go out in 12-0, 12-0, 12-0.
There we go.
Nothing's going to happen.
Guaranteed win now.
We bless them.
Exactly. Guaranteed win for Trident Storm now. Of course, I actually think that Trident Storm will have a bit of a difficult time here against the Maroons. Simply Nick and Noah, we saw them earlier, and we did see some great stuff from them. I didn't really see the consistency out of Simply Nick just yet. I saw some really fast peak times out of him, though, so I'm looking to see more of that just with the added consistency.
Well, there's no Vortex this time, so
True.
It's already looking good for them. We have Sinuous, Control, Frosty, Airwalk, and Pool to end us off with we get there. So, I mean, there's no Vortex, so, I mean, Simply Nick should be already at least 50% more happier.
Exactly. I think that was a particular challenge there, but we didn't see the massive wins out when they were taking their own maps either. So I'm keen to see them really get dominant on their map picks. But I want to see a big fight back from Trident Storm here as well. I think they might be the secondary team for Trident here. So looking at them really trying to make their name known and push forward here.
Yeah, it will be a good comparison. Of course, Maroons had Verox Industries in their first match, so maybe the difference in skill was a bit more noticeable. But maybe the Trident Storm and the Maroons are more equally matched with Noah and Simply Nick now having to go up against Devianch and Neumann. So could be a pretty good barn burner of a match. I mean, I'm definitely looking. Hopefully, it will be a good. Close match, maybe we get another map 5. That's always what we want. And as always, we hope they have a good luck and have fun, as always.
Well, we are going to see that fun start right away because we are heading into the first round and everybody here is going to be looking for an early start, an early lead and some comfortability in the game. Looking at Trident Storm with their first map pick, so maybe they come through well, and it does look like Devianch and Neumann are just edging out ahead at the beginning here.
Yeah, but we saw a lot of times Noah was the spearhead of the Maroons. Like
there it is again.
Demon as well, getting ever so close as well. I mean, you can see Noah is up there as well. I mean, Simply Nick is also not far behind, but we saw in Sinuous, like, the identity didn't really prove any difficulty, so you really have to catch up on track, otherwise it's just going to be the way it is. So
there's
it's
the
up
catch
to
up.
Noah in front at the moment. Yeah,
just not quite the landing from Devianch as Noah does to regain that lead that he was close to losing through that ice slide. It will be an easy victory after that point for Noah. Like you were saying, it's just that is a very consistent, fast finish.
I mean, yeah, I think they should have extended it. They should have taken the normal version of it. Just add that one extra bit of step, and then we would have seen some more differences in the identity. But yeah, for the easy version, I feel like, yeah, it's all up to the track because the identity is just so simple for this map that
track of the day?
You really cannot afford any mistakes early on.
Track of the day, right? Not quite. Not for you? No?
I wouldn't say it's the track of the day. I mean, the thing is that with the identities, the supposed idea of the identity is that it can throw people off.
Yeah.
But so far, I haven't seen a single person make a mistake on the Sinuous identity. So you really have to drive this track throughout all way good, because if you make a mistake, then you might as well just be stuck in your position.
Devianch did need the help of the wall there, but has made a position up. Might be able to hold a Draw here. Noah up ahead. No, Divyansh makes the error. Simply Nick sneaks through and Divyansh has to take the slow crawl up the final ramp. Oh, right when we were saying that ending was consistent too.
Okay.
It happened again.
He made the mistake before the identity.
Okay, all right,
You know,
fair. Yeah,
potato, you know, you take what you can. But technically, yes, he just he had a bit of a yep
Oh,
sign moment
Divyansh,
there,
no!
Wait, where did
He just
fly
went off he just went off the map, completely drove off the right-hand side. I know it's doable, but once you've put a couple of hours into this, you shouldn't be doing that anymore.
I know. I would understand if it was the general direction of the checkpoint, but
Yeah.
the checkpoint is to the left,
That's
not
harsh.
the right. Well, it happens to the best of us. Let's say it like that, as it gives the Maroons a perfect opportunity to get an ace. As well, Neumann is trying to contest that, but it's looking good for Maroons. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, Nomad made a little bit of an error into that last corner, but takes the ice slide perfectly, actually making gains here. Noah, for the first time, is not up ahead. Simply Nick is, though, and does look like the Maroons are going to be able to secure another one here. Noah actually does make a mistake through the ending, makes it anyway, just corkscrewing through the finish line.
Can you call it a mistake if you get across the finish
style
line?
points, like you said
It's
earlier.
style.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give extra points, unfortunately, in this World Tour. I know that, just a bit of a side note as well, I know that, for example, Twiggy, if you know Twiggy, of course, an amazing caster as well. Like, I remember he did, like, a tweet before the Stage 2 started. He's made his Wicked tournament thing. So every time he sees something wicked made by a player, he's going to give them a point as well.
Yep.
So he has his own tournament. So if there's TMGL teams or Challenger League teams watching or anything like that, you know, go for Wicked. You might just win the Twiggy's Wicked competition. But Wicked enough, Trident looking Wicked in first and second.
Yeah, this is a good look for Trident, and it was their map pick, so that you expect them to get out in here with a lead at some point. They've been able to get a decent amount of points here, keeping this close still, but they need a win. Divyansh still holding it, but Noah is making gains moment by moment. A mistake forced by that pressure, though. Noah will come in second still. Divyansh made the mistake as well, just followed the line of the others, and Neumad, the only one getting through that cleanly.
That's the first recorded case of Sinuous claiming victims, and it was 3 people at that as well. So definitely the identity was sick and tired of everybody getting it clean. I was like, okay, time to stop.
It doesn't help when you're following the other people's line, right? Like, it only took one mistake and they all piled on.
I mean, it's a compound error there. I don't know. Again, it's we've said this before. Most of the players do play hard off.
Yeah.
Well, I have
but you're pushing yourself, right? If you know the gap between you and the other players, you will take that risk.
I mean, yeah, but how much can you really risk on Sinuous?
That much, apparently.
Yeah, well, that much that you go flying and start a new airline, but overall, there isn't really much to risk there. Yeah, you might gain I don't know, can you gain that much? Maybe a 10th at best, or you lose 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Pick your poison, I mean. And we see a draw for this round as they come across. So still, scoreline is really close, 6-7, but track point for the Maroons.
I think you picked up on something right there, though, is that we're talking about corners taking it safe to create consistency, but you do have to choose the corners. You're absolutely right. I mean, if you're going to play safe on a corner that could cost you an enormous amount of time, but gains you very little, that's probably the right choice. But there's plenty of corners that is not the case of, and you do want to send it through those. Divyansh, not the case for that corner, makes the mistake anyway.
Yeah, it seems at the moment that there is Noah is at the starting line at the moment, so it seems that there might be another case of a tech pause for him. It was in the previous match as well. Oh, and
Noah's out completely.
Yeah, so we might have to quickly switch to our point of view as we wait for them to figure that out as well, because at the moment, yeah, it seems that we need the players back on the server. We can't really play this
stopped as well in first place.
Noah, so
yeah,
so I'm pretty sure that they will get. I'm sure admins will get to it in a moment. So I'm pretty sure it's a similar issue. And looking at the chat, it is another controller DC, and it seems that there is some other issues for Noah, so he's absolutely fully restarting. So a bit of information for you as well, so you know what is happening behind the scenes. But it gives us a moment to just have a bit of a casual talk, a bit of a reflection of what we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing you can do about player end issues, but we get to, ruminate over the happenings so far. I think the only real upset we had was those 3 players going down so far.
I mean, they've been generally, like I already said, like overall, once you get to the identity, like that should be like set in stone spots. Yeah. So we've only seen like absolutely once really where across 3 matches. Well, we've seen it twice technically. So technically 2 matches where we've seen it. We haven't really seen any mistakes apart from this match. It was only once anyway. So
yeah.
I mean, you take it what you can. Like it's a simple map, and it seems to be more decided beforehand than it is actually on the identity.
I think it's around the time of that ice slide. It seems to be the crucial points, particularly the turn into the ice slide, carrying speed through the ice. It tends to be a major point here, and that's been a make or break point in this map several times for the players. I mean, you say make or break, but we're talking about a map that is so consistent by these players that it is a matter of, that 100th of a second consistently.
Yeah, and we see also, like, crucially, the entry into the ice and also the exit. Also, you get a lot of speed because you are going into a wall right there as well with the boosters. So you really want to have a good exit because that can make the difference in the speed as well. Of course, the red booster helps if you do have a bit of a slower part, but usually the formula is more speed means faster time. At least that's the usual formula that you follow along. But maybe not always works out if you hit a wall afterwards with all that speed.
Yeah.
But cannot have everything in life, I guess.
I think as well, though, that as this stage of the competition goes on, everyone's going to know how close this is. They're going to push themselves closer and closer to those corners. You're going to see more mistakes, not because the track is inconsistent, but because of the limits these players are going to have to push themselves to secure wins.
Yeah, and it's the usual case that this map definitely shows its merits where it's gonna be a close. I think it's gonna remain that way throughout the season. Like we're already seeing close rounds now, and as time goes by, they're gonna get faster, more consistent. It's gonna be even closer and closer, but then it means you have to push more, and it might happen that it might end up with having more mistakes. It's always the balance, pushing more and then saving more, and in a pressure moment, you might have to push more, and that can turn everything upside down. But we seem to be back online at least, so we can get back into the action.
Speaking of pressure moments, it's going to be a high pressure moment for Noah coming back in. Everybody else has kind of been flying around the track and getting a little practice around the corners and stuff. Noah coming in with a little bit of heat out of his tires probably now is actually pushing ahead so quickly. That's insane, just keeping up with Nick right now. The Maroons well ahead together. We'll continue it through that massive speed slide and into the hairpin. Oh, Noah makes the mistake though.
Yeah, as soon as we talk about Noah's tires maybe being cold, well, that corner block definitely has other things to say. So Simply now has to hold on to the draw because Div and Neumann, they are relatively close, so Simply cannot really actually take it safe. He has to just send it as well because he needs to keep hold of the first.
So close.
There, but holds it. That's important for Maroons. It's a draw, an 8-7, but it could have been something that they would have loved to just end it here, get the ace. So, but it allows Trident to get into ace position as well.
We were talking about those 10ths. There were only 5 of them in it there between Nick and Diviange. So you're right. It does come down to Nick being able to just hold that line, hold that speed. This is the kind of track I expect Nick to be good at. It makes perfect sense to me that he is able to compete well here. It's been such a close affair, though, that you really couldn't pick an MVP here. Certainly Noah has been when he's been in the lead, he has been by some margin. You see that speed, but Simply Nick here making that early mistake. We've seen that annoy Mad before, but this is looking like Noah is so far ahead so early here that unless he makes the mistake as well, Trident Storm are going to have a tough time making this anything but a draw.
Yeah, taking a leaf out of my book, praising a player, and as soon as you do that, they hit the tree.
Yeah.
But Noah is in a comfortable lead at the moment. He has almost a second
That's
ahead.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
he should be able to get this pretty comfortably and cruise Maroons into another draw. And that is indeed the case. Nothing really complicated there. You can see the gap went a bit smaller by 2/10, but I feel like Noah probably knew the gap was there, so you didn't really have to push it. But nonetheless, clean round for him, and 1 point needed for the Maroons, but then again, 2 points needed for Trident Storm.
Anyone's game.
As Noah is again back on the line. Hopefully all is right, but the round is resuming. Noah is now underway, so hopefully everything is correct there.
I mean, it doesn't even matter. Even if this is a tech issue again for Noah, it doesn't matter as long as Simply Nick keeps up the pace he is right now. If Nick can take this, a draw wins this for the Maroons as Trident Storm can't make up that 10th point. So, Simply Nick taking good lines through these corners. Very, very important. Coming through. This is probably the last point you can make that speed up, and he does sacrifice it. No, Trident Storm are going to get out ahead. The Maroons have sacrificed it, and you've got to think that is a guaranteed thing for Trident Storm to take this map.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where Simply had to put it in and get it done, but yeah. Of course, that is an unfortunate part. It went a bit too wide and took so much snow before the ice that he wasn't able to get back onto the ice so well. And Trident Storm, well done to them. They took the advantage there, took the point, took the eighth, and took the track point on their map pick as well. But I think it was a lot closer than I think they expected, to be honest.
Noah, go out and find yourself a new controller or cable, whatever it is. It just cost you a map. And we're going to go through into the second one here, which will be the Maroons' pick. Either they just take it faster, or I expect that we're going to see more controller issues out of Noah. It's been consistent. It is a really, really decent problem that the Maroons are contesting with right now.
Yeah, it's being a bit unfortunate for them. I do believe that there's going to be a pause coming in, and yeah, there it is. A bit of a pause just for Noah to check everything out. It is controlled though. Last time the Maroons were here, they were looking really good, and they were up against Verox Industries, the map they actually took from them as well. So it is a good map. At least if you're gonna get back into the match, it's gonna be a map that you are comfortable on, and you've already won before. So you got something going for the Maroons. Of course, we all rage that Noah doesn't have any more issues, but you know, sometimes technology is technology. I mean, I know that from myself as well. You know, you just cannot do much about it. But hopefully, it's something that maybe is more temporary. But at least you look at the positives. It's a map that the Maroons have won before, so you expect them to go and get it again.
Right about now, Noah is diving into some family member's room, stealing their charger to plug into his controller or something. You've got to be trying something. That's the only thing that I can think of right now. Noah's got to be trying something right now. And that controller issue, it could cost the Maroons here entirely if he can't find it.
Well, you might have the foresight because at least in the in-game chat, this does say, okay, new chords are in. So
there we go.
I mean, I don't know if
he
you
robbed
have
it. That's it.
POV, if you have a POV to Noah's bedroom, but
see him diving out the door, rolls back in.
Oh my God! What a perfect. At least you somehow managed to figure out what is actually happening, but. Hopefully that.
I only know because I keep doing it.
I mean,
I know what my problem would be in this game. It would be my controller cable, 100%.
Past experience.
Yes, exactly.
I see.
Current experience. I need to go to a shop.
You have the same issue. Oh God. Well, you know, sometimes great minds think alike, or great controllers have the same issue.
I share a mind with Noah. There you go.
Yeah, maybe, but at least Noah at the moment, maybe not having the best of rounds, maybe getting used to, or at least hoping that the controller that actually works now. But regardless, Simply Nick up in front and being followed by Trident Storm, so
Some
everything looking to
distance.
be a draw at the moment.
Simply Nick looking like this is pretty secured unless it's a big error. He does make it as well, and an ace comes out for Trident Storm. That is a crucial error that Simply Nick made there. He could have safed that as well. I mean, it isn't an easy one to safe. That one is entirely muscle memory there at some point. If you try to safe things, you were talking about this earlier actually, that sometimes you try and you get told that you can play safe and you just start doing funky lines. It's because you need that muscle memory at times as well, and that might have thrown Simply Nick off there as well.
Well, it's hard to say if he needed to really save there. Of course, he was in first position, and sometimes that added pressure. And of course, we don't know how much practice players have done. We've heard, of course, whispers of some people no-lifing these maps, some people doing less practice as well. Some people are literally breathing. Oh, but we see Neumet being behind, Div is behind. So I mean, at the moment, it's looking like a Maroon's ace, if anything. But last time I said that Simply Nick had a combustion and the identity. So I'm going to keep myself quiet and just say that something's going to happen.
Right about now,
happens.
Noah's controller's just burst into flames in his hands. Simply Nick is just losing consciousness as he goes over the last wall. Oh, it might be happening in Divyant, actually. This is definitely a Maroons map here. And it is their map pick, so I do expect them to come up pretty big here. But Noah, an error still made through there, but will make it in time. Divyant following up, and Neumad going to be able to take that third place.
I have to speak in cryptic languages or something. I cannot mention team names. I cannot mention player names. I have to speak in like riddle or something, or I don't know, in rhyme or something. Because as soon as I start to praise somebody, something happens. So I literally have to start talking in riddles or something. I don't know at this point. So it's becoming ever so difficult to cast.
Just start not speaking it in English, and we're
yeah. Well, what language do you want? Do you want it in Dutch? I can do Estonian.
Give us just a selection. Just roll through them as you're speaking, and that way nobody will be able to understand, and you're guaranteed not to cuss it, right?
Yeah, but then again, you have God Hillis. You know, Hillis always listens. You know? Maybe he has a translator on all the time. You know, maybe I cannot talk in any language. But regardless
no
of
language
everything
is allowed.
that's happening. Nothing is allowed, at least for me. But regarding the round itself, it's a kind of a fight up front between Neumad and Simply. So Trident haven't been really up front. It's been the Maroons that actually have been dictating. And a bit of a flight there. But Neumad holds on, and it's a draw. And we're 4-4 going into round 4.
Good effort out of Simply Nick there, but it did come down to the what can be very treacherous identity here in Control. I tried Control. This was an insanely hard map to me. Like, this is one of the hardest of the season for me.
Yeah, the thing is that it's the jump simply. It doesn't really give you any margin of error.
Yeah.
But because even if you get the jump into it, you can have such a weird and awkward line that you just don't know what to do with it, and all of a sudden you're in a wall, upside down in a bobsleigh, and just confused and dazzled and don't know what to do with your life. Which is of course very difficult on this map, but I mean, it's like we've said before, muscle memory is the best preparation you have for this. But I mean, you can only go so far, and sometimes you just have an awkward line and you just have to adapt on the fly.
Here comes Simply Nick through again into first place. Fast line by Nick here, actually, and Noah making those positions as Neumad falls back to last place. There's not a lot of speed in this here, and it could be decided by the identity here. Simply Nick starting it off right. Noah gonna follow through. It looks like a clean finish for just about everybody, but it will be the ace from the Maroons.
A good round. A good round. No
Smooth.
Major mistakes. It's just generally just going through the track. Noah had a really good first jump into that first bobsleigh as well. Went from 4th to 2nd. He had it really clean. So that's where all of that speed came from as well. So good to see. Noah definitely hasn't forgotten the speed element of the race. So definitely going strong here. And for Maroons, because it is their map pick, it's something they really need, and it has been a good comfort for them. Of course, with the technical issues that Noah's been having, maybe sometimes throws him a bit off, but overall, Maroons looking good on the map, and Trident are playing catch up every single round mostly.
This is a fairly close catch-up. Deviant might have gone high, does recover its down to the ground in time. We talked about how treacherous those ice transitions can be there, but Deviant does salvage it. It's not enough to catch up, though. The Maroons are just not making mistakes through the rest of the map. It really has only been the identity to give them much trouble through here, and Simply Nick will have that trouble again. It's going to be another draw here. I mean, the draws at this point do benefit the Maroons, but I'm sure it's not what they were hoping for there.
I mean, if you had to choose between 1 round ace or
Yeah.
3 draws, I would rather take
Yeah.
the ace and just move on to the next map. I mean, of course, 3 draws would be a nice win, but the last thing you want is to drag out a match, you know. It's of course, we're speaking absolutely like obvious things, like, yeah, of course everybody wants to finish the round in 4 rounds, but, you know, it's just sometimes it helps, you know. You get the map out of the way, you're done, you can move on. You don't really need more complications than that, but again, easier said than done, as always.
I mean, in saying that, though, if I'm sitting on 9 points, I am happy with a draw. Absolutely.
I mean, that's true, yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, unless it's 9-9.
Yeah, well, we don't talk about that. That's the forbidden number. We've nearly had records set in the last stage for the amount of draws through into everything past round 10. But yeah, I gotta admit, I actually loved that. That was so much fun to watch them go that neck to neck. Cannot remember who it was. I think it might have been Neumad, actually, but it will be a win here for the Maroons, but Noah has taken it. Simply Nick still has to finish. There it is, and Neumad follows up behind. There it is. The 10-6 for the Maroons mean it is 1-1 in map score.
That is indeed. So actually a good topic as well, maybe sometimes as well. Like, we had so many good emotes and memes from stage 1. I'm looking forward to what the community is going to be cooking up on the new maps and stuff. Like, we had the parkour, we had Cat sitting very comfortably around the cone as well, you know, Cat sitting very comfortably around the campfire. We had with its friends, you know, there was so many good stuff. Like, we need some new material. We got new maps, we got new everything. So I'm looking forward to what the community is going to be cooking up this time. So
I'm a fan of the classics.
The Trolla emote. Yeah, the Trolla is the classic.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
won't change, you know. It's like it's written into history at this point.
That and Bedge. Gotta love a bit of Bedge.
I mean, Bedge is always a good one. That's the usual Mudder trademark.
Exactly.
Bedge.
Yeah.
And then you have the Sniffer as well. You know, I know, like, somebody hits a checkpoint or gets stuck in one, or any sign, then there's the Sniffer as well. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. So I'm looking forward to, you know, get to work, you know. Maybe you find some good memes, become an emote, and be immortalized on Trackmania World Tour forever.
Oh.
But regarding the map itself, we're back on Frosty, which is the Trident map pick, and they're looking pretty good ahead, not gonna lie.
No, a big wipeout there across the jump will mean that Trident Storm on their map pick are looking like it's a confident one once again. Deviant goes high through the checkpoint, does get the line though, and comes out ahead. That is a beautiful, beautiful ice slide through there. The 360 is just perfect. Pixel perfect at that, and they will be holding this lead by the looks of it. Simply Nick just struggling to keep up here, making some room, but Neumad catching up to him as well.
Yeah, and as they go on to the identity, Neumad is going past Simply Nick now, so now we get to see who's got the 360s. Well, Simply Nick has found a pole to be his friend, and the check finish block as well, and just gets across the line. But it is an ace for Trident Storm, so acquaintances have been met by Simply Nick, but for Trident Storm, it is an ace to come through the door for them.
And Noah is usually so consistent that the moment you see a wipeout from Noah, you expect something to go right for Trident Storm, right? The Maroons really do rely on Noah. It's not that Simply Nick is unprepared for this tournament by any means, but Noah has consistency beyond a lot of the players here. And when that goes down, the question does come up. Nomad now putting some question into it again as Trident Storm leads this in points and in position.
Yeah, and as case in point, Noah is up front looking to snipe at the Trident Storm. Fellas, that's a nice inside line as well. Nomad is right on the tail, but with Div falling very much behind, it's all of a sudden... Okay, Noah does touch the wall, so it's actually simply Nick now to try and catch up to Nomad as we go further into the track.
Big mistake early from Divyansh as well does mean that they at least aren't going to lose out here, but like you said, Simply Nick, with the opportunity, might have just done it as well. Good line through there. Does he have the 360? No! Finds the wall, cuts it too fine, and has major difficulties coming through, but Noah coming through at the last moment with some blistering speed secures it for a draw in the totally opposite fashion. What just happened?
Well, Simply Nick had an absolutely the most difficult climb through the identity I've seen so far, but it was because of the result that he lost the reactor at that point, so he barely just got the second reactor to get to the other side, but Noah got it clean and just goes past everybody. Oh, but now Simply Nick and Noah, oh, look at them go right up front. That's what you want to see for the Maroons. If they get an ace, they're back in contention, so that's exactly what you want to see if you're the Maroons fan. So good to see that, but Nomad definitely has something to say about it as everybody gets the 360. Div does slide out a bit, so it's up to Nomad to deny some points again.
The Maroons shouting Queenslander at the top of their lungs right now as Noah leads it up. Nomad has put a little bit of a dampener on the state spirit there. Coming up right behind Noah. Actually, some really fast lines from Nomad to make this catch up now. And there is some contest, but Simply Nick has fallen behind Nomad by what looks to be a unrecoverable lead. Simply Nick is going to be second though, because big mistake from Noah has cost them dearly. Will get the finish though and secure the draw once again.
Well, keeping touching distance, but you know, after 5 draws, it's going to be Trident Storm winning, so something does need to go a bit the Maroons' way. So, as we have alluded to, an ace would be perfect. But you know, you get 3 victories on the board and you're 8-8. So, you know, there's plenty of ways this can go, and hopefully the Maroons can cook something up, you know. Trident Storm are definitely putting up a storm on the track because they're first and second again, and really want to just get this map done and dusted. Has proven to be a bit difficult, but so far looking good. But Noah, again, wow, it makes it look so nice and clean. But Trident Storm now, 1 and 2, looking good.
Was clean, wasn't the fastest though. Nomad making some big moves there, and this is a decent lead by Trident Storm. This is incredibly quick actually as they shoot through the middle section of the track. They will come down to that identity for sure here, I think, as Noah does make some room up. He has to cut this really tight, does very nicely, and has made enough time that this identity could be it. Noah's going to secure it because Divyansh and Nomad made pixel for pixel the same mistake there, wiping out into that top wall.
I mean, teammates all the way through, you know. You make the mistake, I'll do it with you, man. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best strategy when playing 2v2, but you know, at least you got your homies back. You know, you make a mistake, you know, you don't feel bad. I made the same mistake as you. Know, it's all good. We still got the draw out of it. It's all fine and dandy. But the double trouble on Frosty as the pole gets the victims. Simply Nick goes a bit too tight. The corner has to respawn. So it's again, and Noah as well. So if there ever was a lead bigger than before, it is this round for Trident Storm.
Yeah, a 4-second gap more to Noah as Nomad and Divyansh truly can safe this one. They are going to go for some very nice lines though through that first ice slide section. We've seen how fast they can be through this area in just that last round on this as well, and I don't expect them to be dropping too much speed on this. Realistically, they're racing each other right now.
I mean, it's just for a bit of bragging rights as well. But I mean, as long as one of them is 1 and the other is 2, it doesn't really matter who's first. But you know, maybe they have a competition of who gets the most first places or beats the other. But currently, this time, no pole incident, and they get the ace on the board, bringing them to 9-3. And what you said before, well, you are now at 9 points, and you only need 1 point. So it's the classic Gex comfort zone, as he wants the 9 pointers, and now with Trident Storm have it.
The classic Gex from all the way back like 15 minutes ago. That's
yeah, classic.
The classic. Oh no, we need to have Divyansh in this competition. He has just wiped out on the first corner and taken himself away, but no, my goodness, Noah might have just given him a chance to secure some points back into this again.
Yeah, but Neumann only needs a minimum second position, so he can be like, yeah, Simply Nick, yeah, sure, you can take first place all you want. I just need second. It's more than enough for me. If you want to have some world record pace run here, I'm fine with that. But it seems that Neumann is just casually just flying towards the distance. Does touch the wall, so this round is a bit everywhere. So everybody's gonna get another opportunity to showcase their frosty 360s one by one. But as it stands, Trident Storm are looking to take this track point.
Yeah, Nomad, I don't think should have any issues with this. Nearly 2 seconds back to Simply Nick. Just has to take a safe line through this and does so well. That's going to be the securing end to this match. Simply Nick is going to give the respect there and forfeit the final points away for the ace as Divyansh comes through. Noah did follow through as well, and that is Trident Storm 12-3 against the Maroons.
Yeah, so far at least the formula, whenever we've seen Maroons play, it's been everybody gets their own map pick, and that has been the case. So Trident Storm, well, I mean, I did at the beginning of the streams bless them, so maybe it's actually worked. Of course, I cannot take all the praise, but maybe it has actually
maybe you can.
Worked.
You're trying.
Maybe I can be redeemed. Maybe after consulting with my counselor for casting and everything, and we've come to conclusion here and everything that maybe things can change. You know, maybe I can be a better caster and not caster curse every team. But at the same time,
I don't know. I think that's proof you are. Only the best casters get the curses. If you don't get the curse, it means you're not a good caster. It means you're not. The universe hasn't recognized you as a caster. This is the ultimate recognition of being a caster, that you get that curse every time.
Yeah, but at some point it does become a bit too much now, especially I think in promo relegation. I think
Psychologist is going to hear this one.
Yeah, if promo relegation was anything to go by, I think every team could have filed a lawsuit towards me because I pretty much cursed everybody. So, I mean, at some point, a bit too
anti-competitive behavior lawsuit coming through.
So, but going back to what actually matters is that the Maroons, they do have to deny Trident Storm from a match point and to take us to map 5. Looking good at the moment. Airwalk was a bit of a map for Simply Nick. Let's just say he didn't have the best of times last time.
No.
Maybe something has changed. Let's see how it goes this time, though. 1 jump, 2 jumps, and that is not it for Simply Nick.
Divyansh having trouble. Simply Nick, I don't think he knew it. He might have made a big error here. Oh my goodness. It might not matter at all because nobody is going to be finishing this one. There, it is Noah and Neumad coming through. Noah set the time so high that, there were 2 members of this race unable to finish.
I mean, as long as it's a victory for Maroons, I'll take it. If Simply Nick can... I think if Simply Nick, if you told Simply Nick, oh, you can try the rounds without finishing and still win, I mean, he would probably take it. I mean, that's
he would just keep doing it. It's
yeah, it's like, imagine if somebody told you, like, oh yeah, you don't even have to finish, you'll still win. I mean, you might as well not drive. But of course, that's it only happens if 2 players don't finish.
Pretty sure that's how Simply Nick finishes the Simply tournaments as well. He's just looking for the players who just refuse to finish and win that way.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe that's carrying over the World Tour a bit too much, but you know, maybe this time, maybe the 3rd time wasn't the charm. when he tried to go for the init and first round, but maybe it works this time. Let's see. Somehow it will work, right? So he goes for it again, and this time he misses the time hopper.
Deviant's still
is
well
really
behind
not a
though.
fan of this, and now he jumps. Oh, Div and Simply are not having a good day on this.
No, I mean this is the inconsistency we were talking about that finish though on this map. You do see some major inconsistency out of that jump. If you haven't practiced it just an unbelievable amount of times, you've got to put the hours in on this.
Yeah, but so far the tactic is working. Simply Nick hasn't finished twice, and they're still in the lead by 2 points. So clearly the tactic of do not finish, win the match is working somehow. I don't know how, but it's clearly working at the moment. But I wouldn't rely on that too much. But let's see. Every Div, of course, the other part is that Div hasn't had a really good time on this as well. Like both teams have one member who have been really struggling there. Noah and Neumann have been the ones really just fighting up front.
And they are, again, I mean, just on top of each other through the first half of this track. Noah's made a little bit of space now, but it's not enough to secure this with this identity. If Nomad gets a very good finish here, but Noah continuing to improve that gap. Nomad coming through really quick right now. Might have the speed. Has to get in front of Noah on this last jump, though, and I don't think he will. Noah, too consistent on it, has that speed. Simply Nick finishes right behind as well. Incredibly closer finish there, actually. And Deviant still having the issues. We'll find... No, never mind. I'm going to stop talking.
He just let go of the accelerator. At that point, he was like, it is what it is. It's just like, at least I know the lineup now. I'll try it again next round. But so far, Maroons... looking good, and Simply Nick got the finish as well. So, breaks in the chat as well. He's looking a lot better as well as, Neumann gets the touch. So one of the few mistakes we've seen from Neumann on this map. So now it's looking really good for the Maroons as they are now perhaps looking to get an ace and bring that Frosty map scoreline to Airwalk this time, but the other way around.
Noah still out ahead as well. It's kind of classic for this map, but without Neumad there as the competition, the Maroons are looking very good for this. Simply Nick keeping up some major pace, though, right on top of Noah right now. It is a bit of a battle between the Maroons. Deviant still in competition here, but he needs this extra speed up this last plastic section. He does not find it. That's going to be Noah taking this if he has his trademark consistency. It does look like he will be finding it. Oh, and Simply Nick has the line secured now too. It's an ace.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, maybe some of that RPG adventures with Spam have helped as well. Like, they've driven some of the most unique tracks in this game as well. So maybe that does come in handy with... I mean, Simply Nick is a very skilled player. Don't get us wrong, of course. We might sound like we might be a bit mean towards Simply Nick, but I mean, he's a good driver. On a good day, he probably would beat me even, especially on RPG. He has a lot of variety in skills. And we see a bit of a clip by Div, but I mean, the Maroons so far, at least on this map, good stuff.
Look, I'm also a regular of Simply Nick's channel, so if he has problems, he's just going to rip into me when I get on there, right? Like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to hear about it. I'm absolutely sure about it. Simply Nick puts in the time. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's not his map, but that doesn't make him a bad player. And we just saw him finish extremely well, so he has the capacity there. And that's what I've been saying all along. His peak is actually extremely good. It's just that consistency, and he realistically came into the season a bit late. I mean, this is now his this is only his second appearance, I believe, here in the World Tour. So I think he's doing extremely well.
Yeah, I love, what I love as well, like every time Noah, because Noah has a horn, so he has it fits so well for Airwalk. They did win the track as well. We are cool store bobbing, but the Maroons actually take the track point and get us in the map 5. But I love every time Noah goes into Airwalk, he just goes for the mark horn. Like, we're going for the big jump. It's every time it gets me. It's good stuff. But we go on to pool.
Wait, map, one point. Did you not notice that everyone finished? Everyone. It happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it has happened before, but I mean, okay, maybe in our Airwalk it was a bit of a rarer
Yeah,
occurrence,
yeah.
but they do finish these maps. You know, that's the
They do
point of
finish.
the game. You
Yes.
start and you finish. That should be the main goal for all of you to follow. Unless the map is somehow bugged and you cross the finish line, it's a fake one. Other than that, that should be the main goal. You start, you finish. That's at least the simple end of it.
The Maroons now, I believe, back on their own map again, and if they do take this one, it would be the advantage they need to win the series. So they are out ahead right now with purpose. Nomad chasing up, but there is a little bit of a distance. He is closing the gap slowly, and Pool in this last section, if you get the better line, if you do carry that speed better, is an enormous advantage. Comes down to this now. Simply Nick has to keep pace to hold the ace, and he might have done so, but Nomad is going to get through that little bit quicker.
Yeah, and there it is on the line. It is a victory for the Maroons. And this being the decider map as well, it's anybody's game. I don't remember if the Maroons picked it last time. I don't think it was. And we haven't seen, of course, Trident Storm, so we don't know if it is a map that they are particularly fond of as well. So we'll have to see. But at the moment, at least, look pretty good for the Maroons. They seemed a lot more in the element compared to Trident Storm. But our pool size is 1 round. So, I mean, you take what you can with that data. But as a statistician, at least, that is not enough to go by. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But the Maroons looked a lot more convincing, at least in the first round.
We're going to do some repeated testing here, I think, is the consensus.
Guinea pigs.
Nomad.
The World Tour is just a labyrinth, and the guinea pigs are the players.
It's actually, yeah, it's a social experiment. That's all this has been all along. We tricked you. You're part of it as well. Oh my goodness, Nomad with a fast line that he just can't hold. With the wall tap, will fall back into pretty much the same position he had. Might be able to edge out Noah here, who does take just that slightly better line. And now it's 3 men wide through these corners in the pool, but Simply Nick, he can see his position changing on his car, has the pressure on him, and makes that contact. He still will finish third, and it's a victory for the Maroons again, but Divyansh coming through late will get his finish.
Yeah, same positions as before, so we're seeing a bit of a trend developing at the moment. It's good to see, at least, especially with pool being more of a it's more of a simpler map. There is a lot of flow into it, but there's just these little subtle mechanics, like we've seen with doing the slide and canceling it out. So there's a little bit of everything in here to just keep you entertained. But we see Nomad having a bit of a rough time, going a bit too close to the wall. So it's again 1, 2, 3, but a bit different people. But the Maroons again holding on to first and third.
Simply Nick there. Oh.
Yeah.
Simply
having
Nick.
A good time. So the Maroons ace though at the moment, looking to be on the board.
It's unusual to see Simply Nick out in front by this massive a margin. Normally, if anybody in this matchup is going to be out by that margin, it would be Noah. But Simply Nick has had absolutely awesome round here. Noah catching up towards the end, but Simply Nick knew probably there that he had the time to spare, and they will take the ace.
Yeah, good stuff from the Maroons. That is good to see. And 2-7 scoreline, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest leads the Maroons have had so far. So it's looking very comfortable for them. 1 more ace, and they are qualified for the quarterfinals, which will be played out today. So you don't go away too soon. You know, we will be playing in the quarterfinals. So, you know. And then we will have day 2 as well. So, you know, just the popcorn. If you're out of popcorn, then you might consider just getting that quick refill after the match. But there's still a bit to play for.
And Maroons looking good to move forward to those quarters as well, so we may see them again yet. The Trident Storm, if they lose this one, this is the lower bracket. They will be out. They've got a lot of ground to make up, and Nomad might be the only one here prepared to make it. Noah is holding that position though, and he has been so consistent through this. Oh, he is going to lose that consistency right as I talk about it though. I'm going to need that second language as well, because I have cursed it. Nomad comes through, but it will be... Oh no, it's not a draw. Simply Nick has gone all the way back as well, and Divyansh takes third. A victory for Trident.
Yeah, exactly. What did I say, Gex? Like, as soon as we try to be nice to people,
I know.
the
This is
World
why I
Tour is
just
like,
had
no.
to rip Simply Nick apart before. It was just like, let's be brutal and he will finish. And it
Yeah,
worked. It worked.
yeah,
Come
it's
on.
exactly like this is the thing. Like as soon as we forget that the thing exists, we try to be nice to somebody. It's like immediate combustion.
Oh no!
But again, we see a bit of a flight there for Div, so it's again Neumann put into the position of denying it, and this time he needs to be first to keep this match going, because if he ends up second, victory for the Maroons is more than enough to take them through, so he really has to push, and he has to push 7/10 in the identity, so I don't know, Noah has to somehow just wipe out of the map somehow.
Oh, very good line. Neumann is making positions. Right behind Noah now. Oh, Noah hits the post. Oh my goodness, God. So close. 450th of a second there between Neumann and Noah at the last moment.
Oh my God, if Neumann didn't have the airtime, he would have actually done it.
Yeah.
But that little airtime was just enough, and the Maroons take the win and take their position in the quarterfinals. So that is well done for Trident Storm for pushing it until the very end. And well, the Maroons got it done. So that is that. And I do believe that is all of the matches now concluded for this as well. We can always double check, but I do believe that maybe there is one more match. We can, of course, double check. I never trust the interface. I usually want to double check just to be absolutely sure. Because I do believe that isn't Dynasty and non-trained duos still playing? Because I do believe, at least I see from my end, that only number 1 and 2 have finished. So there should be one more match underway once we perhaps get into it eventually. Unless you have more info up from my end.
Still waiting on messages from production on whether we're going to go to another match or not. But yeah, speaking of taking it to the line there, Trident Storm, like, they may not have looked the best in those last 2 maps, but they did take that all the way to Game 5. It took an entire series to beat them there. The Maroons had a contest on their hands, and they might have to perform better than that if they're going to get through the quarters as well. The quarters are about to be brutal, and they are coming up.
Yeah, but they did, of course, they are coming from the lower bracket round as well. So that is something to consider as well. So they will definitely have a matchup that is going to be quite difficult for them to come. But I do believe that actually round 3 has ended. So I guess there's only one destination, and that is quarterfinals, I believe. But
it is.
I guess that will be in a moment.
It will indeed. So you guys at home, don't go anywhere either, because that moment is coming right up. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are here with our last round of the night. We will be continuing tomorrow, of course, so don't forget to follow the stream. But it is our last round. We are in the quarterfinals, and we are here with Trident versus Dynasty. It's been an awesome night with you so far, man. Greedy, we have had some awesome games. Are you expecting another game 5 out of this one?
I think so as well, but of course you have a bit more of a leniency towards Trident Esports with JSwag and Biwak. So to go over the teams as well, Trident Esports came from the upper bracket. They are represented by JSwag and Biwak, and Dynasty have of course Pixels and Gimme, and they came from the lower bracket. So if you're a betting man, you would put your channel points into Trident Esports, but I cannot sway you to make your decisions. But with the pick and bans going as well, there is a reminder. This is now a best of 7, not a best of 5 anymore.
Yeah,
so
so
we're gonna see more maps as well.
Pretty likely we'll see that map 5.
Yeah, and looking at it, well, we still haven't seen breaking though. People haven't been really optimal to go for breaking. It is of course picked here because a 7 out of 10, the chances are
Actually,
pretty high.
Looks like we might have the wrong server. So,
do we? I have the right server.
I'm in the wrong one.
Dynasty.
How is that possible? How did that happen? I don't know how that happened.
Well, either way. Well, you know, we cannot have...
you guys at home had the wrong server. It's your fault.
So, are you on the right server interviewing?
We'll be now. Yeah, now we are.
There you go. So, at least I gave the rundown of what we saw.
Can you go through that again? TLDR?
Yeah, so the banned maps were Pool and Grip. And picked maps were, in a moment, once the screen goes away, as you see on your screens as well. Trident Esports, JSwag and Biwak, and Dynasty, Pixels, and Gimme. So, of course, maps picked are Control, Airwalk, Off-Road, Vortex, Frosty, Breaking, Sinuous, a lot of maps, plenty to play for, and we are going to start off on Control. It is a... Again, we talked about it before. Those ice bobsleigh jumps can be somewhat of a killer.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we see them be as much of an issue this time around. I think actually we've seen some of these guys do it. Kimmy already facing issues. First corner will wipe out on that post. It is a crucial one to get close to set yourself up with speed for basically the first half of the track. And it's going to be crucial to not make that mistake a second time because now it's Trident Esports well out in front.
Yeah, so not to be mistaken with Trident Storm that you just saw.
Yeah.
This is now Trident Esports, sort of. You can look at it as their main lineup. So definitely this is where the speed ramps up even more than before. So currently Dynasty are trying to chase them. They're not too far away. I mean, if you have to respawn on that identity, I mean, Dynasty are looking to snipe away. So either way, let's see how it goes. They're going into it. Looking good.
Oh, Pixels.
JSwag having a bit of a moment, but gets it in the end.
Pixels having a big moment there. Landed upside down, but it is an ace regardless. It didn't matter how cleanly he landed that. That was so good by Trident in a round 1. They didn't really need the time to warm up, did they?
Yeah, definitely true. Also, just to give you a bit of context of where the levels are, Dynasty in the first stage was always second in the regional. So they always made grand finals. But now, of course, I feel like the competition has gotten a bit stiffer. The maps are a bit different. So I feel like, of course, there's I can smell the wind of change coming towards as well. But of course, I'm sure Dynasty would love to finally win a final. But first, they have to actually get to the semifinals.
Yeah.
Plenty to do for them. But Trident are definitely looking to be more of the hot favorites. I'm not gonna lie.
Biwak really contesting for first here. Might even get in front of Kimmy, but JSwag is going to drop back, so he needs this. Biwak ahead now, might be able to secure that draw. Super important here for them to keep ahead.
Yeah, and with Kimi and Pixels right on his tail, I mean, no room
Oh,
for error.
no.
Pixels does need to respawn. Kimi gets second. Buyback also
No.
needs to respawn, so it could be a victory for Dynasty, but Trident hold on to the draw. Just hold
Ooh.
on to it, but that could have been a lot worse in the end. That's sort of a saved moment there for Trident, because if Pixels didn't need to respawn, that could have been just an ace back the other way.
Yeah, that first place was just not held, and it means there was able to be that draw come in, Dynasty getting their first point on the board, but that's not enough to secure a lead for them. They're going to need an ace right now, even just to even up. It's a good lead early from Trident Esports.
Yeah, and we get to see that, at least for now, like, overall, the general look of the rounds has been relatively close. It's just been like an early mistake that's put Dynasty sort of on the back foot in most rounds, or the other way around for Trident. But this is now one of the first rounds where everybody's close together, but the bobsleigh usually does put somebody in front and somebody in the back. This time it's Pixels, the unfortunate one, as Trident are now zooming alongside with Kimi, but Kimi has a nice oh god, that ball Pixels away.
Kimi right on top of Bywhack. J-Swag leading, but he's going to make a mistake through the finish. He is going to finish still, but it will not be in first. Kimi snipes it.
Oh my goodness. 3 players, 300... Well, 300...
Wow.
Words, 300ths of a second.
Yeah.
Literally nothing separating them as they go to the line. Great race now. That was a good one. But when you look at the scoreboard, nothing really has changed. Everybody got 1 point out of it, and it's still 3 points lead for Trident.
Crazy how close that was, really. And now expecting more of that as well. Trident Esports still in the lead, but it does start to close up a little bit. The more of these draws go on, the more you expect Dynasty to just make their move at some point.
And again, you see the similar side as well. Of course, a reminder, this was the pick of Trident, so you would expect them to be more comfortable with the map. And we see, if you get that bobsleigh clean, it works so well. But when I drive it, it doesn't look like that majestic.
It doesn't look like that, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, me neither.
I like to think of myself as a decent driver, but those jumps are very difficult. And J-Swag and Bywhack making it look effortless.
Yeah.
59-4, 59-7, ace on the board. And Dynasty, well, you might as well start to look towards the next map, maybe. Unless you are gonna ramp up and get 2 aces back to back and then win the map somehow.
Yeah, Dynasty in dire waters here, but I think there's promise there in the fact that even when they're losing, they've been fairly close. That last round being the exception, but Dynasty have been right on the heels of Trident time and time and time again. So when it comes to their map, does that mean that's not going to be the case? Is Dynasty going to shoot way ahead?
Yeah, and for a once at least, Dynasty have a bit of breathing room, because Bywhack has fallen considerably behind compared to the previous round, so it does give Dynasty a bit of breathing space, or at least an opportunity to snatch some points away. Ideal, of course, an ace. I'm sure everybody would love to, but J-Swag is just edging ever so farther away, and Bywhack all of a sudden sees the red of Dynasty in front of him, so... it's looking to be a possibility that Trident just take this round and it's done.
How is Bywhack back in this? He's so fast. He just made crazy time through there, and he is going to secure third for it, as Pixels did make a small error through the finish line. Just getting that transition once again into the ice is so tough. When it's that high transition, it's even worse.
Yeah, and if you look at the scoreline, it was a pretty comfortable win. Of course, slightly shaky then and there, but Trident definitely making their map pick work wonders for them. And we move on to Airwalk, a map that has given us some really good rounds. Of course, it's probably a map that of course, I'm throwing shade, slightly shade at Simplink again. I hope we're gonna be friends. Simply, you are a good reference point. A map that Simplink hopefully he gets to ban it more often than not, but we'll see. I don't remember at least that Trident or Dynasty having issues here. At least my memory says that we've seen them on this map. But the problem is that there's Trident Storm as well. So I might be mistaken them with them.
Oh,
But
Pixels.
either way.
Early wipeout from Pixels onto that transition.
No.
I think that might be the first time we've seen a full wipeout on that spot. And that means Pixels is basically out of this. It's a huge setback. Oh my goodness, and Kimmy's gone as well. That is going to be Trident. I mean, they've got all the time in the world right now.
Yeah, but again,
I mean, there is that.
One of the things with the Airwalk identity is if you have to respawn, that's a lot of time that it's gonna be cost. So, I mean, again, once you hear the word safe, I mean, yeah, it sounds easy. Just save the bumpers. How hard can it be? I mean, we've seen all kinds of various ways that end has come and concluded. So unless they get through the ring, nothing is really settled. But it seems that Trident at least are doing it pretty clean, and that is a clean round. Buyback does hit the finish block, but on the inside, so that is a clean ace for them. Pixels comes through, and Kimmy is gonna be fourth. Gonna go for the 360. Okay, maybe not, but backwards.
Yeah,
a bit of style there, you know. Look, put a bit of emphasis on that, you know. Add a bit of spice to it, you know. You're last. Might as well show off a bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dynasty much slower through there, but the final section, looking at that finish there, the identity, every single player did that cleanly. We are looking at the style points for the last entry through, but even with the style points put on display, was able to get that finish.
And this time, even Kimmy, of course, he's in fourth position, but not far behind. And Pixels is in the mix with Baywak and J-Swag. Of course, Baywak is a lot more in front and looking pretty comfortable as well. It clearly seems that Trident Esports are definitely more prepared on a variety of maps, because even if this being Dynasty's pick, they have been pretty much in front every single round.
Very, very fast little bounce through there from J-Swag. Might even be able to get his teammate here, but there is a chase from Pixels. Not going to be as fast through to that final ring. And it will be an ace again from Trident Esports. This is just consistency. I mean, it's hard to look at Trident and be like, oh yeah, it's so entertaining, but it's just because they're being so clean about everything. There's no errors. There's not that much to talk about. It's just perfect.
Yeah. We are going again to that position where we start to praise them. Gex, don't forget about it.
Yeah, I know. I say that and I immediately like, well, that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's,
watch him just lose. This is ace for Dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like it just happens to be that way. But yeah, I still want to keep praise where it is due. Like, Trident Esports are looking pretty clean, and I haven't really noticed any mistakes from them. Pixels and Kimmy are the ones that are in the chasing position, and they've made pretty light work of that identity so far for Trident Esports. So it is a uphill battle for Dynasty, but they are in the mix, so you cannot really count them out. And with the gaps being literally only a 10th or 2 right now, I mean, somebody just gets a lower line and that's it.
Very, very close here. Even Pixels still in the mix, and with a very, very quick jump through there, might have a shot. Oh, there's a mistake from Kimmy, and it will be Pixels coming through first for his team, but that is all behind Trident with another ace. They are 1 point away from a perfect round here against Dynasty.
That is a clean round. Also, I just figured out, or at least noticed something like... if you bought tickets to be in that seat behind the finish line, you might really need to consider bobbing and weaving, or I'm pretty sure those tickets must have been going for cheap, and not gonna lie for the spectators there. But
I think the insurance by the stadium must be massive on those seats. I reckon you pay more. The insurance must be absolutely huge. Liability out the window.
Whatever insurance those people have, I would love to have it. Like, if they're willing to buy tickets to that spot, they must have probably the best insurance of their life. But
Kimmy is out of this one.
Aside and everything, we are seeing a similar sight as before. Trident Esports comfortably in the lead, and it's looking to be clean 4 aces. Job done. Let's move on to the next map. Surely nothing will go wrong. They've been consistent in the last 4 rounds. And it's looking to be that way as well. Still, not a single mistake by them. That was the cleanest airwalk I've seen of any team, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was absolutely perfect. Round after round after round from Trident Esports. 12-0, the perfect ace coming through for the first time in event number 2. This is exactly what you want to see out of a very confident Trident.
Yeah, and if you are now a fan of Dynasty, that the expected rate of being always in the finals is starting to look ever so more complicated for them. Of course, nothing's out of the question. We've seen the most miraculous comebacks from 3-0 down in track points to somebody winning 4-3. So, I mean, it's not over until the fat lady sings or you crash in the identity. You know, it's either or at this point. So, if you're a fan of Dynasty, you should be waving those flags ever so higher. Support the Kimi and Pixels. And if you're a Trident Esports fan, you can recline a bit more for now, unless you really need to get more into the match.
Dynasty now 2 maps behind in this best of 7. Need one here. Unless they want to have to reverse sweep, which is not a particularly nice prospect against a team as consistent as Trident have been so far. Great transition by J-Swag. Will continue that consistency through into the new map Off-Road.
Yeah, and with Kimi having a bit of a pixel clip there, it's a comfortable lead. They are at least 10 seconds almost ahead of Dynasty. So, I mean... at this point, either both of them disconnect, somehow there's a roadblock ahead, but it's looking to be an ace for Trident Esports, unless they yep 3 now. But this section should be pretty comfortable, and there it is, an ace on the board for Trident Esports, and I feel like the momentum for them is just now there. They're feeling comfortable, they feel like they're on top of the world, and the time and the performance is there, and it's just that Dynasty hasn't really found the footing so far in the map, or in the match at least. It is a single elimination as well, so you don't really get second chances in the playoff bracket. So it maybe the pressure, or just Trident Esports looking absolutely dominant.
Off-Road is an impressive map because there are so many sections in this that are so complex or difficult that, for consistency's sake, that they could be identities on any other map. It's really, really interesting to watch a team that can go through this with this level of pace over and over again, and Trident Esports are proving they can do that.
Yeah, of course we say that Bywek notices that he doesn't have enough speed, so he does go for the respawn, just to be absolutely sure. I do believe he clipped beforehand and it was like, okay, I'm not gonna even attempt. I'll respawn and just go for it again. But it does allow at least for Pixels to be in second position, so it's looking to be first points for Dynasty. And you know, sometimes, you know, a tree starts from a seed, you know, and maybe that 1 point can become 10, so, you know, everything's possible. But for now, at least, it will be 5-1, the scoreline.
Yeah, Trident Esports still looking good for this. Pixels making a mark on it at the very least here. It's a good sign. Kimi needs to step up to that plate as well. It's just such a tough mark to reach. You don't have to be harsh on Kimi to just say that Trident are so hard to beat right now.
Yeah, they are just consistent and fast. That is a deadly combination to deal with as well in any esports title. So if you can be consistently good, that is a lethal combination. We've seen that in Grand League as well. Like, if I think of consistency and fast, Pac and Carl Jr. come first into mind. And at the moment, like, J-Swag and Bywek are showing simply the same thing. They're fast, consistent, and they are just making good work of what's supposed to be a difficult match on paper, but making well, Dynasty really work for it, and at least so far Trident enjoying themselves, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Trident are just probably playing this as they do in practice at this point. I mean, you really can when you're this consistent. It's exactly what you do every time, over and over again. They're pushing themselves and they're having fun doing it.
Yeah, and that is sometimes, of course, you know, you have fun, and if anything, that always leads to like more. It builds the confidence and motivation as you go through the tournament as well. So if you can beat somebody with a confident fashion, I mean, you just go on a high into the next match, feeling like, yeah, we got it going there. I'd like the world doesn't end here, and it's like only up from here. If anything, you know, I feel like the stars are the goal at this point. But this time, at least, we see everybody's gone through it. It's a good sign, and Kimi is in the lead, so looking a lot better for Dynasty this time. But J-Swag really pushing it every time, goes so far ahead all the time here, and they go for the risky line here. But J-Swag does have to release this time, so for the first time, looking good for Dynasty.
Well, right now, very, very good look for Dynasty. They are in the lead, but it's not by much. Biwak trying to find an inside line somewhere here. Cannot pass Dynasty as Kimi and Pixels both take the line. They need to cut this right, and they will do it. It's an ace for Dynasty. That's what they need.
Oh, that is good stuff indeed. And there it is. I mean, like I said, a good analogy. You start from a seed, the 1 point was there, you broke the ice, and now it's starting to sprout into a tree. So Dynasty needs, well, ideal world, 2 aces and you got your first track point. But it has been a good tough hill battle for them. But, you know, sometimes you just need that one good round to get yourself going and make the other team sort of question a bit. Okay, we are in the lead, but they're going a bit faster than before.
I mean, Dynasty, they are coming off the back of a map that they got perfect swept on, and that means that this is not just like any tree growing. This is a mustard tree. The mustard seed is like, it's almost microscopic, tiny. Mustard trees are absolutely massive, and that is what Dynasty is trying to be right now. They are trying to be massive, and now it's looking like a tough ask. Dynasty does have Kimi in the pack, and he has to stay there, but they need a draw here, and they're not going to find it as Pixels comes in behind. Biwak does mean that it's going to be a victory. The 10 points found by Trident Esports, and they are 1 map away.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes, of course, as a caster, you try to seem not very one-sided, but I mean, at this point, all praise to Trident that they've made it look effortless, to be honest. And we're going on to Vortex of all maps as well. I mean, if there is going to be a spanner in the work, literally because of the spinners here, this is a map where you can maybe throw in something interesting, because Dynasty, they have no other choice. They need to get a track point here, or it's Trident going 4-0 and moving on to tomorrow for the semi-final.
And the problem with caster preference only comes when it's not completely obvious, right? And when you're doing it because you're hating on the other team or anything, there's nothing wrong with Dynasty here. Trident are just insane. They're not getting beaten here, and I'm willing to put my foot down on that. And it's because Trident has played this fantastically. They have earned our respect here in the consistency. They're going to take this map because they have consistency in this series as well.
Yeah, but there is a caveat. This is a Dynasty pick.
True.
So, money is on the fact that there has to be something that is the reason to pick this map. And at least for now, early sights are good. And with J-Swag making an additional mistake, it's now up to Pixels and Kimi to make this map pick work. Biwak is the one that has to deny now.
Immediately, actually, looking the practice maybe isn't on this map point for Trident. So, yeah, the caveat is there. Dynasty have their chance to make a dent on the series, but that is some serious speed from Biwak. Passing the competition, has to be consistent over those, does make it through, and will be first to tie.
Ooh, and I just saw Kimi going for the air time as well, off again, and that allows J-Swag to come in third. So it is a victory, everything considered. So what looked to be a promising round for Dynasty, the Vortex identity, it feels like it's, well, like technically anything can be a toss of the coin, but with Vortex especially, if it goes wrong one time, it feels like it can go wrong every other time, because
Kimi.
it's just but Kimi goes a bit too early off the spinner, and now he is really struggling to get back into it. So it's again up to Pixels. He has to now get a draw out of it, or try and get another ace on the board.
Yeah, and Dynasty, at least they've got that point on board early. They've broken the floodgates, as it were, at least hopefully for them. Pixels, that's a fast line, doesn't quite cut it tight enough through that narrow gap and will be slowed down massively. This is all Trident now, as long as they can make it through that final identity perfectly.
Yeah, but again, Vortex with the identity as it is, of course, the best strategy is actually just go fast over it. And there is a bit of lineup here. As you can see, when they go towards the spinner, they go slightly more towards the left because it will swing you more to the right. So it allows you, after that little spin or the wicked spin on the spinner, it will center you back in the middle. So there is some, you know, sense to the madness as well. It's not like they just go randomly on the pole. There is some lineups. There is some ways to make it more consistent, and Trident Esports cleanly through the identity, ace on the board, and a 5-1 scoreline.
Trident Esports back in a familiar position now, but Dynasty with their map pick have already shown us some serious speed as they've come through this. They need to have not just the speed, but the consistency. That's what we were talking about Dynasty earlier. They've got speed and consistency. So even when they're not out ahead immediately, I kind of expect them to make the points back over time, and it hasn't taken much time.
Yeah, it's looking to be a good show for Trident, but again, it's not over until you cross the finish line, and Dynasty have been in the mix, and they are literally behind Trident at the moment, and it's just that the consistency has been so much better for Trident, and it's proving to be a crucial element of Vortex as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Currently looking good as everybody's literally inseparable as we go toward the checkpoint. Nothing to separate them apart from the identity. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. They are going through it. Everybody gets it clean. But Pixels is there. Kimi is trying to push until the very end. But Trident with the more speed still get the line there. The one round where everybody got through, but still Trident just a bit more speed and get the ace again.
So tough when you're watching your position swap and change right over the identity as well. You're so close to the finish. It's so tempting to take that lower line and just try and cut it as narrow as possible, but the speed comes from the high line on that grass section. Oh, Kimi has made a big mistake there. Pixels was out ahead for only a moment, and now Trident Esports are looking to confirm their ace again.
Yeah, and Pixels needs first. There is no other options.
Yeah.
He needs to get first position. If second is not good enough, because a victory is enough to take track point and match point for Trident. So Pixels is definitely going for it. He knows at this point you might as well gamble it. Just go for it, send it, give it all you got, because other than that, if you safe it, you might not be even able to be first. So all eyes on Pixels. Can he do it? Here we go.
And there's a chance here. Biowak has to make a mistake, though. And Pixels doesn't look like he'll get it. He has chosen the high line, fortunately, but it is not enough. In fact, he loses the position to J-Swag as well, and it will be the ace there. Trident Esports are going to take it, and Dynasty are going to have to go back to the workshop and work out where they can make that gain if they want to take on Trident Esports again in the future.
Yeah, that is the case, but this will be now the first time Dynasty won't be seeing the finals. They go out in the quarterfinals already, so with that quick match, well, I would presume that the other matches are still underway. We'll have to wait and see where it goes. I do believe that was probably the first match that did finish. So we'll have to see where everybody else is. Maybe we somehow... Oh, there's some interesting matches as well. We haven't seen Restless today. Of course, the Red Bolt and Winky Face. So maybe we can edge our way there. It would be match number 1. Unless production has some other choices, we'll have to wait a moment and see.
It's like info coming through now, so
yeah,
won't be far off.
But just to quickly summarize,
that
was just an amazing match by Trident. Like, nothing to take away from that. That was as clean as you're gonna get a match. And praise to them, they're going to tomorrow. And we get, I do believe we have a match on as well.
You do indeed.
So let's take a look here. Mujiki and Maroon. So apparently it is the fact that Simply Nick will not evade us. So
it's time.
For another
He's
round.
suddenly nervous. He just feels it. He has no idea we've entered. He just feels it in his bones.
Well, when I go on the server, I feel like it might be actually the case, but at the moment it is a match between Mujiki and the Maroons, and with an ace for Mujiki, that is going to be it's going to be going the way of Mujiki and 2-1 ahead, as Simply Nick is contemplating on something. I don't know what he is doing, but there is definitely a contemplating moment there for him, as he was just sitting on the bottom of the map. But maybe he was just like realized, it is what it is. We'll just take the next map.
This was
their pick, so.
Yeah, true. This was the only matchup to move through as well, because everything else has been sweeps across the board. So let's look at the content here, because that was a close affair. The Maroons definitely making waves there, but 12-7 will take the map, and we're then moving on to Grip E.
Yes, and what we know, of course, when we saw Mujiki and with Leaf and SQLC, they were very formidable, looking very fast and consistent as well. So the Maroons have all the work to do, but they've taken a track point. So, I mean, there is definitely blood in the water. So it's definitely something that with Noah and Simply Nick, the quality of players they are, I think it's a worthy adversary for Mujiki. But we'll have to wait and see as Grip's first round is underway. And let's see what it holds for us.
We mentioned last time we were on this map how tempting it is to cut that final corner too close. The post taking a toll the last time we were here. I'm surprised we haven't seen any tolls taken on the first checkpoint, actually, because it can be so tempting to just go that little bit too low on that. You want to cut it so low that you get that grip back immediately as fast as you can. And there's no chance of that happening when the players are as good as we've seen, but maybe we see just that little mistake at some point through here.
Yeah, but SQLC pushes a bit too much and allows Noah to get past. SQLC was actually catching up to Noah and went past him, but then just a bit too much on the gas pedal and gives Noah the opportunity to at least get a point for the Maroons. So as treacherous as that identity might look at first, or at least on the surface, very simple concept, just a bit too much is all it needs to sway the results in the other way.
These results are hardly confirmed yet. The Maroons only behind by 1 point after the first round, and leading right now, Noah and Simply Nick making their pass through into the dirt section. Now Noah still well out in front, and Leaf well behind here as well. SQLC racing to make this a draw.
Yeah, and last time at least it was the part where SQLC was actually pushing towards Noah, but now goes a bit too inside. Yep, signs it, and now it's a perfect opportunity for the Maroons to take the ace. Keep it simple, keep it simply, Nick, and you got the ace on the board. There it is. Living up to his name as well, and they get the ace, and that's a lead for the Maroons. That is a very good sight for them, and if you're a fan of them as well, that is perfect to conclude the round for them. 4-2 the lead.
Yeah,
Let's see what next round brings.
I've got the Shepherd's Hook ready. I'm gonna yoink you off for that for the terrible pun coming through. That's a classic caster move, right? The pun. You've got to you have to search for them. There's no other option. You're kind of in a position where that's the only scenario for a caster.
I mean, I already have one lined up for Leaf as well, so I'm just waiting for it to
the perfect moment.
Waiting for it to drop as well. I mean,
the Leaf to drop.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But there's plenty of ways to use that. But for now, at least, the Leaf is pretty high in the air at the moment because he is at first position. So Noah is actually trying to catch up again because SQLC is so far behind. So it's Leaf to hold the draw or for Noah to take the victory for the Maroons.
Here's a Leaf on the wind. Watch him soar. He's out in front. If you get that reference, you can be my friend. It's all right. Leaf going to take it as well. Noah so close behind. Simply Nick is going to get that free third spot because SQLC had quite a mare on that one.
That's good stuff indeed. For the Maroon side, good stuff. Of course, they would have loved to snipe Leaf in the end. But for now, they keep their lead, and that is already half the win, at least for now. But, I mean, overall, it's looking to be a good match. I mean, the Maroons are definitely shaping up to be a nice adversary for Mujiki, where we saw, of course, previously where Mujiki were really good and consistent, and it seems that the Maroons are pushing them a bit more than they are maybe used to, and maybe a few more mistakes then and there, and you have a match on your hand. But here, again, a round where nothing is to be separated, like literally neck and neck with each other.
Maroons only just ahead here as well in the series. They are needing more than this. As here they come around the identity, just holding on, Simply Nick. Yeah, 2 wheels there. Oh, he had to reset. Leaf is going to make his way in front, followed by SQLC, and it's an ace for Majiki sneaking out in front in the series.
Oh, but this is why we love this identity. You can just go absolutely 2-wheel there, and it's just like constantly just like that. You're just on the edge of your seat, holding on to your seat with all your grip as well, trying to imitate the players as they go around the identity. I mean, it's one of the most satisfying ones to get right as well, but there's so much potential there to push as well, but just a little bit too much and your car goes bye-bye. But so far at least, Leaf somehow makes it to the other side.
Yeah, just barely making it through. Simply Nick now trying to chase down SQLC for the ace, as SQLC tries to secure, or could only be a draw here. That's a big mistake from Simply Nick, though. And suddenly there will be a draw, and it could be a victory if SQLC makes this. It is last corner coming through here now, and in that identity, a tough one. Noah losing nothing there, though, and will take that high line, securing first place. SQLC, followed by Leaf, followed by Simply Nick.
Yeah, and it keeps the distance still 1 point apart. So again, it's just a hair's thin. Like, Maroons can get an ace here and put Majiki in a position to needing an ace. So again, it's just on a little bit of an edge here at the moment, because any result here now, well, for Majiki, an ace would be a track point, of course, but for Maroons, getting a victory on the board with Leaf falling a fair bit behind is looking pretty good at the moment.
And Maroons really need this as well. Noah is going to make contact and fall behind as well. SQLC now out in front, and now it is so important for Noah to hold that position, and maybe Simply Nick to get that overtake on Leaf. He is making some ground here. Needs to be more than this, though. It is all up to Nick for the Maroons to stay in this confidently. And it's not looking good for him. That's falling behind as Leaf makes his way into the final part of the identity. Going to come around that post. Has the comfortability to make it home and make it a victory for Majiki.
Yeah, but now it's the 9-7 scoreline the other way around. So whatever happens this round, it will conclude this track. So Maroons looking to get an ace, and Majiki, they are looking to get a second position minimum to secure the track point. So all eyes on the Maroons, but at the same time on Majiki. Like, we've talked about this before already. Like, that 9-7 scoreline, it feels comfortable, but at the same time, probably the worst scoreline to lose as well. I mean, you're 9-7 ahead, you get aced, lose track point, and that's probably the worst feeling in the world.
Noah and Simply Nick only just behind, and it does create that pressure as well. SQLC and Leaf must be feeling it right now. It could create that error, but it might need to as well, because the ground is not being made up by Simply Nick. Oh, just making a little on Leaf there, but not an overtake yet. Riding the edge of the corner as he comes around. That's an awesome line. Does take a second spot, but he flies off the edge, and that's got to be it. Majiki take the ace, and they take themselves to match point as well. The Maroons now only one map into this match, need 3 in a row.
Yeah, of course the Maroons came from the lower bracket as well. So again, you can, based on logic, you would put your money on Mujiki, but it hasn't been, it hasn't been like one-sided. Like the Maroons have shown that given the chance and the opportunity, they can take a track point away. But we go on to Vortex as a map as well. So I'm having flashbacks to Simply Nick here, but anything's possible. It's not over until it's over, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Vortex again. It's been a map that if you pick it, you're feeling comfortable. And Mujiki did pick this map, so you would expect him to go really strong here, but all eyes on the Maroons. I'm not gonna lie, because they need all the track points in the world, but with warm-up ahead, behind us technically, let's see how it goes.
Mistakes in warm-up as well, so looking to fix some errors immediately, straight off the bat, coming into the first round. Leaf coming out, very rapid. Same mistakes coming out for Noah there, though. Leaf is not going to make it. Simply Nick in the pack, but going to head way to the back of it now as SQLC and Leaf lead it up.
Oh, and Leaf and Simply Nick both had to respawn, not making the quarter pipe jump, so it leaves Noah and SQLC up in front at the moment, fighting for that first position with Leaf and Simply Nick following along. Noah goes for a bit of a straighter approach, does gain a bit of ground on SQLC, but it's basically non-existent. So again, it's a good fight up front, and at the moment Noah is looking to at least make it a draw for the Maroons, or who knows, maybe with a few respawns it can be anything, even an ace, but we'll have to wait and see. SQLC and Noah go onto the pipes, so here we go. Going good so far for the both. Get it clean, and that is the result for that map. Leaf gets it. Simply Nick is now going on to the pipes as well, so okay, there it is. For a moment I was thinking, why hasn't Leaf finished? But that grass part is a lot longer than it first agrees, and Simply Nick...
Forgetting how the map works for a moment there.
I mean, it's a bit of a flashback to the first match we casted. I'm having a bit of a PTSD moment here.
Yeah.
Of what we casted before for Simply Nick, but, it's first round, anything still to go for.
It definitely does come down to a lack of practice at times for Simply Nick, though. You can see it when you come to events like that. Identity there. When you see a player go to the right-hand side of one of those spinners, you know that the practice just maybe hasn't been there, and that might be the case for Simply Nick here.
Yeah, and of course we gotta keep in mind as well, like, there's still like 10 maps in the pool. Like, being good on every single map is very difficult.
And first regional too.
Yeah, and it is the first regional as well. And we've alluded to as well, we don't know how much people have practiced. We don't have like a counter on our spreadsheet anytime. Like, every time they log in and play a map, we have a perfect counter of how much hours they've spent on it. We don't have the technology for it yet, so maybe in the future. But
very
Noah
high
is
pace.
overtaking at the moment, and with a lot more speed, so looking good
so
for the
consistent.
Maroons. Oh, that's good stuff, and that is a good side for the Maroons, at least. Promising. But now we need Simply Nick to follow along with Noah, and they might get some more points on the board, and maybe get their track point as well.
It is going to be a draw here, which means it remains only a 1 point gap here, with Mujiki leading, and it could be the end of this matchup entirely if they hold it that way.
Yes, but Mujiki have been looking a lot more convincing, gonna be honest. But it's been looking a bit of back and forth here. Of course, that was a map in the previous map pool where you don't have back and forth anymore. Sad. It was my identity. But I won't be seeing it anymore, unfortunately. Very sad indeed. But everything aside, it is actually Noah who's having trouble with the quarter pipe, and it's Simply Nick who's in first position. So being put on the pedestal for this round.
Yeah, and he will need to hold it as well. Let's see if he does function under that pressure. Simply Nick has to get this. They need a lead now, and it's still accessible to them. Simply Nick not holding the perfect lines through here, but SQLC with this chase still has some distance to catch up. This is good by Simply Nick, just holding the pace, keeping that line right. Does have the ability to play a little bit safe here, but not too much or he's going to lose this out. Simply Nick didn't go left over the spinner and it costs him the run through the identity, and it's going to be what looks to be an ace for Majiki, who again go into a very confident lead.
And that is a certified kick-by moment from the pipe at the moment. It's once you go off, you go off as well. It's like as well. But we do see that Simply Nick does intend to hold towards the right side of the spinners. I don't think I assume it's something that he has practiced and feels the most comfortable with. But as far as I know, the spinners, you want to be on the left side. But
Yeah.
then again, I'm not playing, so who am I to speak? Basically,
where's your regional qualification?
I mean, EU is around the corner. Who doesn't know? Who doesn't say I cannot play
okay, all right. I'll keep an eye out for your name.
Well, the problem is that you are so cutthroat that you probably won't even see me if I actually play.
Okay, that's
I won't
fair.
be on stream.
That's fair.
But jokes aside, actually kind of looking good for the Maroons. They are second and third, and only SQLC is up front. So unless if SQLC makes a mistake, it could be a pretty nice way for the Maroons to get an ace and bounce back here. Because one respawn is all that the Maroons need, but I haven't noticed any mistakes by SQLC, and yeah, holds to the left.
Oh, Simply Nick!
The pipe
Just getting launched there.
Simply Nick is not a pipe enjoyer, definitely is not it. And SQLC is first, Noah is second, and by the time that Simply Nick has respawned, Leaf is coming in third, and it's a victory for Mujiki. There's nothing much to do with it. I mean, if you cannot get across the pipe, there's nothing much you can do really, because you need to get across to get to the finish line. I know, shocking news as Castro reveals how to get to the finish line. But yeah, Maroons need aces now.
Yeah,
it's coming to this point now.
It's unlikely they're going to find that on a map pick from Mujiki. They're showing exactly why they've picked this map. They've got the consistency on here to be able to take this through with only minor points ever being given away to the Maroons here. As Mujiki look to make it another ace. They do have the positions to do it, but Noah has some serious pace on him. Is going to make that first place up and now needs Simply Nick to get on board.
Yeah, and SQLC has a rough exit from the pipe, so it's looking good. Noah is contesting Leaf, but both Noah and Simply fall off.
And Leaf
even fell off. So everybody has to go for it. Again, apart from SQLC, who's now miles ahead of everybody.
Went from last place too.
And Simply Nick has to disappear from the server?
He's out. He's done. It's game.
I think that might be a premature exit. I think Simply Nick has kind of had enough of this map, and with an ace on the board as well, that is it for that match. I think, I think at
that's
that
the
point,
whole
Simply
series.
Nick was like,
Simply Nick said, "What's the point?" The ace is there. It's happening.
They're gonna get the identity anyway. I'm done.
And they did.
Out.
Here it is.
So
Majiki.
It is what it is. It's GG for Majiki.
11-3 moving through to tomorrow. And speaking of, it will be tomorrow. If you want to see some more from the APAC region, the World Tour will continue then. Same time, same place. But it's been quite a day moving forward to these quarterfinals. We will be covering pretty much every single map tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely insane tomorrow, so you don't want to miss a moment. It's been awesome working alongside you, man. First time working with you, Creedy. I know you've worked just about everywhere else in Trackmania, so welcome over to APAC once again. If you're in the chat, give it up for Creedy coming over and helping us out.
I mean, Gex has been a good host as well, like all praise to you as well. Chat, you've been awesome as well. If you haven't already checked out the Liquipedia as well, we already know what the matches are going to be tomorrow. Restless with Restless going up against Mujiki, so it's Red Bolt, Winky Face versus SQLC and Leaf. And Trident Esports going up against Barrack Industries. Those are the matches for tomorrow. I'm really happy to be part of the APAC. We have some really good teams for the semi-finals, and we are if anything is to go by, only Mujiki is left, who has won a regional. So we might see a new winner tomorrow. Anything's possible. But for at least for today, I mean, there's still a lot of Trackmania. EU regionals coming up. Trackmania Grand League Super Weekend will start tonight as well. I mean, if you're a Trackmania fan, it's just gonna go endless. You don't even need to sleep almost, and you can just keep watching Trackmania.
Well, let's hope you do get some sleep there. We want our chat nice and alert for the action in APAC tomorrow as well. But there was some action today. We got some surprises. We even had a few full aces across maps. We know that there is some serious talent at the top end of this region, and we've got to find it tomorrow. So for today, that is us out. Creedy, I've had a lot of fun with you, my friend, but we have to send it off. Thank you guys for coming out in chat, and of course, our guys behind the scenes, but we will see you all tomorrow. We'll catch you later.
Have a good day.